I'm starting with music. Get the music. I need new music, but this is the music I got. And I'm stopping it. It goes forever. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Monday Night Draw with Meredith and Dave.
We've upped the ante. There was music to start.
Yeah, the same music we always have.
Hey, look.
And
Nobody
I keep saying
said it had to be original.
But it's music. So that's like production value right there.
He tried. We got production.
Thank you all so much for coming and spending some time with us again on Monday night. I'm pumped for this one. Abrahama says, hey there. Corey says, hey, Dave. I saw Mike Montgomery said, Finch Flock.
James Larges said, hello, Dave and Meredith. Hope you have a great stream. Just stopped by to say hi. I'll catch the stream after work, unfortunately. Well, fun at work, James. Stay safe.
Henry Jeremick is here. Art 9, Charles Petrie.
El Padrino.
Art Jedi is here in the house.
Anthony G.
Art Jedi said the production quality is really ramping up. Greg L. Static Art is here. All right. We're going to start.
Can't name everybody. So
today I'm drawing Wonder Woman. And I'm sure you guys saw that from the thumbnail.
Well, sometimes you change it up. You're like, you do a little thumbnail tease.
It's never a tease. It's always a mistake. Every time that happens. But this time it is right, sort of, because I'm actually drawing the God of War Wonder Woman. I was downstairs. We were having dinner. Meredith said, oh, just to let you know, this is a commission. And so this is what...
Commission week number 2.
Commission week number 2, yeah. And so this is what they wanted. They wanted the God of War Wonder Woman. It's, you know what it's like for me? I'm going to complain. This is the worst. I promised myself I'm never going to complain on here because I want it to always be. I'm complaining. Every time somebody wants me to do Hulk, they always want me to do World War Hulk because it's got all the armor.
Normally,
all the time, every time.
Nobody wants you to do God of War Wonder Woman. I never see that request.
And God of War Wonder Woman, I feel like is the same, except that, to be honest with you, Meredith, I'm actually so pumped to do this one.
Yeah, you've been drawing her in forever.
No, so this actually really works out for me. I'm excited to do this. So you know what? I shouldn't even. Why am I complaining?
I don't know why you're complaining. Everybody's got to be super nice to Dave tonight.
Why?
Because you're having a tough day.
Oh no,
you're feeling some anxiety.
So well,
he's just got a lot. He's got a lot to do and not a lot of time to do it in. That's all you can say. All you can say.
Well, what I can say is it had nothing to do with the channel or any of you guys are obviously 2 things. Number 1, 6 covers in 6 days. It's a lot. So I haven't really been getting a lot of sleep. There's that. And then also the next video, I was really thinking we'd have it up by Saturday or Sunday. And we certainly will have it up tomorrow.
Let's hope so.
We sure hope so. But it's finished and it's ready to go. And I'm actually really proud of this one. And Yuri, who edited it, said he liked it. So I call that a vote of confidence. And also Eric. And it's part of, I'm going to draw and talk. It's part of an overall course that I did on expressions and on caricature. And so for YouTube, I put up, I'm going to say most of the caricature section, most for sure. And then there's also 2 heads. Like I did some really extreme heads with expressions. I did one that's really uplit. That was actually, I think that was, anyway, whatever. It's a course. It's a part of a big thing. So it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work to put together. It's late and I am sorry. I'm like constantly late right now. Buddy Buck says, hey guys, Flavio Costa is here from Brazil.
Eyes down.
I'm working.
Just draw.
I'm working.
Just draw, honey. Just draw.
Anyway, yeah, so I mean, this is how it always is. And, when you're working. It's
not always quite this bad. There are times. I'm just going to say, there are times when, you've got something going on. But right now, you have, I feel stressed just by how much stuff you have going on right now.
Yes, but.
You've got, 6 covers in 6 days, plus 2 other covers due. Plus, you need to, get the tutorial out. Plus,
Okay. Now you're starting to stress me out.
I know. So I'm going to let's just
look.
On that positive note, I'm not trying to add stress.
I love every minute of it. I wouldn't trade it. But yeah, it's a little stress right now. That's all we're saying. I'm actually, I don't know if you noticed, I'm in a much better mood last week. We started out and I was really kind of struggling. I don't know, you guys watch this and you can see when I'm just sitting here kind of like.
Is it because I brought you down coffee with Bailey's?
That is what it is.
You're looking forward to drinking your coffee with just a little bit of Bailey's.
It is nice.
So nice. All right, super chat from SCS Powerlifting for $5. Thanks, SCS, and good to see you tonight. Just got done with a piece for a client who was the biggest pain with changes. Have you ever had to deal with that, and how bad?
Oh yeah, and thank you very much. It's great to see you here. Yeah, I've certainly had to deal with that. I'm going to say that in the grand scheme of things, it's the rarity. It's not common, and we are very spoiled as comic artists. Versus if you work in video games, changes are the rule, and or in movies, you draw your pictures, you draw a few different sketches, and then based on that, you go from there to the next step. It's a few sketches, things get thrown out all over the place, and then you end up doing finished stuff, and it's the whole works, and then that might still not get chosen, and it just goes into a bin. And I think video game design is a great field, and it's a great option. And you work on I'm a huge video game fan, so you work on amazing things. But from the standpoint of working and dealing with changes, it's definitely very different than comics. Comics, it's rare you get changes. It'll happen. For me, now, there are a lot of ways to work. Most of the time, I gather that most artists working now actually do layouts of their work, all the pencils. So page one, it'll have a layout all the way through.
You don't really do that.
I don't do that, and I have paid for that before. And because I haven't done that for so long, and they trust me pretty well, I get away with it, and nobody's ever asked me to do that. But that also comes with a cost, and I know this going in, that if I make a mistake and it's bad enough, and it has happened, I'll have to fix it, and I'll potentially have to redraw a page. So it's happened to me, and I deal with it. Basically, here's how I deal with it. I freak out here. I drive Meredith crazy and the kids crazy, and they all avoid me for like 2 days, and it's a nightmare. And I write a nice email back. Oh yeah, no problem. It's totally, yeah, it's good. No problem.
No, you know who sends the nasty email?
Yeah, that's always Meredith.
That's Meredith.
But
Meredith gets like, she listens to it, and then she's like,
yeah, but not in that situation.
Then I'm snap.
But not in that situation, nice, because that's not really a situation to be angry.
Not in that situation, but sometimes I have to send the snap email.
Yes, I'm not good with that.
No, so that's why you have Meredith. I was actually talking with a friend today about how his wife is the spicy one.
I just want to say, and I'm sorry, I'm totally interrupting you. I highly recommend you have a very strong wife that can take you freaking out for 2 days, because she really can. And Meredith, you say this all the time, and I'm like, I hate saying it. I'm the worst with this kind of stuff, all the W stuff, but I love you. You are way too good to me.
I haven't done anything, people. So we're just going to take that.
Well, what you have done.
What you don't know is how much Bailey's I put in that cup of coffee.
I haven't even had any yet.
I know.
Good.
I haven't done anything.
And there's not. I mean, no. I'm pretty sure you're good there. But yeah, no, I've been, storming around and freaking out for a few days.
You're fine.
See what I mean?
You're fine.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but that's because I can do the same thing, and you can, like, when I'm losing my mind about trying to pack everything, and you have a deadline, and you still come upstairs to sit with me so I can fall asleep because I can't sleep. Goes both ways.
There you go. Works both ways, and it has to. But yeah, I don't know, I'm feeling very grateful all of a sudden today, right now. You know what? I think part of it. Okay, a big part of it is. I'm just glad to be doing the stream,
have some fun.
Yes. And also I'm so enjoying drawing this sketch. Like, I'm pumped to be doing this, right? Because I thought I was going to be drawing regular Wonder Woman, which is fine, but I've done a lot of it. This is actually the first time I've done Wonder Woman in any form, kind of on the stream, but I've drawn a lot of Wonder Woman. And so I was like, but
I want to make you feel good right now.
Okay, good.
Mark C has a super chat for $2, and Mark says, A, considering the state of the industry, I'm glad to see you busy, and B, stream looks great this week, which means
great.
Don't have problems.
I adjusted the settings. And thank you very much. Why. Yeah, before we got in, I
fixed it.
I looked into what I had set wrong, and because I told Meredith after the stream, I'm pretty sure that I had it set right, and it was just our internet. It was me. I had our bitrate set too high. We, for a really great stream, you want to have a bitrate that's higher than what we have now, but we don't have the internet to support it. So
Michael Sarbasi
Sorry, Michael.
Sabarcia? I don't know.
Sorry, Michael.
Sabarcia? I don't know if I said that right. Michael, I'm sorry that I struggle so much with the super chat for $25.
Well, yeah. Now how do you feel?
I felt like I'm like, it's an unusual name, and I was, you know what I mean? It's unusual. It's not one that I've seen before. So.
Okay, show it to me. I'm going to try it.
SBAR.
SBAR.
Yeah. CCIA. Sparcia?
Okay.
You gotta say it a couple times, like,
yep.
You know what I mean? Anyway,
you'll
sorry.
notice I didn't try. But we do apologize, Michael.
Hello,
really.
David Meredith. How influential was Danny Mickey to your artwork early in your career?
Okay, so and thank you very much. Not early in my career because I started at Top Cow and I worked for 10 years, a little bit more than 10 years before we worked together. So I had a long career before him. And I was very influenced by Joe Weems was a huge one for me. I learned so much from him. I learned, okay, the first inker I learned a lot from was Billy Tan. Billy Tan is not an inker, he's a penciler. I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar. He was with Top Cow for years, Marvel. He's a phenomenal artist and a great guy. And the first person I ever met when I got into comics, so I don't know if I've ever told the story here. No, I'm going to so digress. I don't care. So I
just keep drawing what I do.
I moved to California. When I say moved, I had a suitcase. I was a kid, and I got there, and there was a miscommunication at Top Cow, and nobody was there to pick me up from the airport. I had $50 on me that my mother gave me just in case, and which was a lifesaver. And so I was down there with no address. I had no idea where to go. It's the entire city of San Diego, and just let you know. You can't go to, because it was Homage Studios at the time, which was Jim Lee, Scott Williams was there, Mark Silvestri, all the, Will Spataccio, J. Scott Campbell. It was a huge list of, Joe Benitez, anyway, Travis Trest, I could go on. But it wasn't actually listed. Like, you couldn't find it in the phone book. And they did that on purpose so people didn't just show up. So anyway, here I am stranded in California. My mother finally called because we had a number. I called her. Fortunately, she was home, because she might not have been. I could have just been stranded there in San Diego. Anyway, she got a hold of somebody. Billy Tan came out of the artist condo. We had an artist condo, which sounds so much better than it was, but we had one. And he came out to meet me. He was the first person I met. And it was, after being very afraid of what was going to end up. San Diego was warm. I wasn't going to die, but I was worried. Yeah, he was great. Okay, so digression aside, I learned metal textures from Billy. That was because it was such a huge thing at Top Cow, and I just could not do it. And the way he was inking it, I started trying to I just copied how he was inking it, and it started working for me. So that was Billy. And then from there, Joe Weems was the next really big influential inker for me. He's very textural, and he had a really hard kind of a angular style, which I loved. And we worked together, and I tried to pick up a lot of that, and it made my artwork much more angular. And I was really working with my black shapes in more of a jagged kind of a way. And then the next one for me was Matt Banning, Bat. And Bat actually all along, not just in terms of inks, but he really guided me quite a bit, because he's the one that I complain to. Everybody needs somebody that they go, oh, it's not working out. And so I complain to him all the time. And he was very supportive. He's the one that suggested, he didn't say, hey, look at Simon Bisley. But what he did do is say, because I said to him, I can't draw like Top Cow. Mark Silvestri is my biggest influence. I couldn't do fully that style, though, the image style. And for those of you that are familiar with the early 90s image style, you know what I mean? I just couldn't pull it off. And so he said, find something else. And so I started looking around. Anyway, I found Simon Bisley. I showed it to him. I'm like, you think, I don't know, it's so different. Can I get away with it? He said, just go for it. And, he had a lot of guts, and I didn't. And that made a huge difference for me. That's really when my art started coming together. So I owe him eternally. I would love to do an interview or something with him at some point.
With Matt?
Yeah, that would be really great. And
absolutely.
I learned so much from him. And he was just, he's great for guidance for me. And so anyway.
And he's a fellow Canadian.
And the next,
I don't know if he's Canadian anymore, but
he's in Denver. No, not
Colorado.
Denver.
He's somewhere in Colorado.
Montana. He's in Montana now. Anyway, and the next big inker I learned a lot from was Danny. That was 2004, 2005. So quite a bit later. but I would say my style is more direct because Danny is a very heavy-handed inker if you let him be, and he's a very light-handed inker if if you say, oh, it needs to be like this or whatever. He's perfectly capable of doing that, but he's an artist. They all are. And Danny really wanted to be able to bring his own art to the work, and I really encouraged that because I loved the stuff that he could do. And so my art started to take on a lot of what he was doing. I was really learning from it, and to this day, definitely, I'm very influenced by him. But it was later on, but definitely there. Yeah, there you go.
All right. Next super chat comes from Leclerc for $5. Comes from when we were talking about me being supportive of you or pretending to be supportive of you.
Right. Yeah.
So Leclerc said, "Whoa, couple goals. Big love to you guys." Thanks, Leclerc. And nice. Tag also super chatted us for $5. Tag says, "Hey guys, want to say hello, and that was beautiful. I shed a tear. Seriously, I did. You guys are awesome."
Wow. Well, thank you very much.
And really $5 from SES Powerlifting on the same topic. Yeah, my wife midget takes good care, cooks my meals, makes sure workouts are done, and puts up with me when I miss a lift or my drawing is off. So
yeah, you need it, and you have to give it back. It can't ever be a one-way street.
It has to be. Though it feels like it mostly comes my way. I will say, it mostly comes my way.
But you mean like you
I
are? I
take more than I give.
I don't think that's true because
I operate on a level of drama.
Yeah, you have an overall
all the time. I have like a
for me it's more rare, but when
buzz that just constantly goes.
Yes, and I'm not that way, but when I'm bad, I'm pretty unbearable.
Well, I don't know about that.
Not only that, and I'm just gonna say this, okay. But Meredith has been like a rock throughout our relationship. We would not have made it as a couple if Meredith was different because, this was my first really serious relationship. I mean, I had relationships sort of before. Believe it or not, I'm not the best with women. So, it's not like I dated all the time. And so, yeah, Meredith has put up with me really learning how to be in a relationship properly and, be a consistent, you need to be able to weather the rough times. And for me, I'm much more of a runner. I'll just, that's it, I'm out, and I'll run. And Meredith was perfectly able to deal with that, And so, yeah, you can be more maintenance on an ongoing basis, but I don't think I can compare with the,
So it's a balancing act. It tipped more toward you in the early stages, and now it tips more toward me.
Maybe
as I skirt off, I flirt with the jumping off the deep end.
Sure.
Into complete and total insanity at times.
Yeah.
All right. We have 3 super chats, each for £5 from Lee Townsend.
Lee Townsend,
who is here, and Lee, I feel like you have to have a question with 3 super chats for £5.
Well, and he doesn't have a question.
For a total of £15. None of them had a question, but Lee, if you have a question, because sometimes people have a hard time figuring out attaching the question to the super chat.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Ask the question if you have a question, Lee.
And anyway, so I met Lee in England quite a while ago now, probably 10 years ago.
Clearly, since he's super chatting in pounds.
Yes, it's been quite a while, and he is a Marvel inker. Great guy and a great inker, and yeah, I've known him for a long time, and I really appreciate this. Is very, very nice of you. Thank you so much for the support, and thank you for just being here. That's very cool.
That is very cool. All right, I'm going to read this quickly because it's.
Let me make sure I'm on the camera here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because you've got your. While you're doing that, NYC Tours Forbidden Planet Comic Store says. DC Wonder Woman Volume 8, A Twist of Fate, just got from by Marathon Dave. I picked it up last week, and he had stars I loved it. So thank you for picking that up.
Yes,
New York City Tours Forbidden Planet Comic Book Store. I think that's what I copy and paste things into my word ninjas, but New York City Tours. We know who NY Tours. Next super chat comes from Michael Johnson Curry for $4.99. Michael wants to know, how do you decide on page rates? Somebody asked for a page and said my rates are too high and offered me below minimum wage for a page. Is this the norm now? I don't think that page rates are like the starting page rates are capable of sustaining your life.
Well,
like
okay,
a full-time job.
Okay, so a starting rate from Marvel, and I want to say don't quote me on this. I'm pretty sure that this is just close. If it's not accurate, it's close. A starting rate at Marvel is somewhere in the $125 to $150 range, just about, and that's a starting rate, and that is not a lot. And you know, you can survive on that if you're doing something monthly. And that's Marvel and DC. I think that the other companies are fairly
They're not
comparable.
paying that much. They're not paying
They're
as much.
yeah, and it depends on the company. It depends on the project. It is not a lot of money, and this is why I say you can be a comic artist at 50, no problem. And there's no reason why not. And I was just saying to I think to Meredith earlier today. I mean, who else am I talking to right now? You know, we're in COVID.
You could be on the phone.
I could have been on the phone. That's true. That I feel like a lot of the current artists that are out there have really not lost a step at all. You know, that are getting old. Like Mark Silvestri is better than he ever has been. J. Scott Campbell. Anyway, I could go on and on. That artists that have been around for a long time and are just still doing their very best work. I totally lost my train of thought. Why did I even mention that? Anyway, they are.
What are you talking about? Sorry, I got distracted by
we're talking about page
rates.
I
Yeah.
know. I had a point. I forget. Anyway, this is what happens when I'm drawing and talking to you. But you guys should be used to that.
Digression, Dave digression.
Yeah, and me like totally talking myself into a corner and having no idea what I was talking about. Okay, yeah. So it's not a huge amount. You can do substantially better when you get it. Oh, right. I know what I was talking about. So you can break in at any age. The problem of breaking in when you're older is you have an expectation and a need for more money because you have a family. And
you got to support yourself.
And it takes all of your time. Like it's not something that you can just do here and there. Like you really need to devote yourself to it. It's a lifestyle. And so, that's going to be a factor. And so, yeah, when you're starting, generally artists can afford, like for me, I made $100 a week for a year for food. Basically, I got food money. On the other hand, I lived in the artist condo at Top Cow. I had a futon. They gave me the futon. Like they provided stuff. They were very good to me. You know, I couldn't complain. They provided me with a bicycle to get to work. We were in Santa Monica, I lived just off the Santa Monica Pier. They were filming Baywatch there around that time. So that was cool. Anyway, I couldn't see it from my
Pamela
apartment.
Anderson.
You know what? I never saw it once. You know how many times I went to the beach?
I do. You're asking the person. I don't even know if I can reveal this on the stream.
No, thanks.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I didn't go to the beach. So, yeah.
Let's just say you didn't go to the beach. Next super chat comes from Spirit Retro. Some secrets will remain secrets for £5. Hi, David. I heard great things. Any advice for someone who wants to seriously develop their penciling? That sounds like Spirit Retro is new to the stream. So welcome to the stream, Spirit Retro.
Yeah. Thank you.
And thanks for coming. Thanks for the super chat.
I would say seriously developing your penciling, first of all, is I think a great goal because it's very common to focus on everything, inking and coloring even, and try to be an all-around artist. Whereas, I think to be really your very best at drawing, you need to focus on it. Now, if you're drawing on the computer, you really can. I think you can mix inking and drawing at the same time. And I'm seeing a lot of younger artists that have a style that, to me, it just looks like they are learning doing that. And so you can see it's a bit of a looser inking style. Anyway, I think it looks beautiful, some of that stuff. But yeah, the fact that you're focusing on penciling is a great step one. From there, to really get good at penciling, you need to understand that you have 3 levels of understanding for penciling. And the first is, foundation. And it's foundation across the board. So you have your foundational figure proportions and basic shapes. And then anatomy, knowing where the anatomy goes. And perspective, very easy to learn. Perspective is something that daunts a lot of people. Like it will stop people a little bit, but it's truly very easy to learn. It really is. I'm like the biggest moron with math, and I could figure it out. If I could do it, you got it. So but you need to
He's
learn
not
it.
wrong.
Yeah, no, it's true.
He is the biggest moron with math. And I only know this is to be truth because now I'm teaching his like-minded child. Gosh, I love Isaac so much. He is so smart and so creative, but
he is, but yeah, he's tough to teach. And I want to say just quickly, as a tip for perspective, here's what I recommend. Because there's a difference between understanding that there's a perspective point. Now we're going away from step 1 here anyway, but I'm just going to say this before I forget. There's a difference between going from understanding perspective points and having a general understanding of how to use perspective and how to use it in a panel effectively to get the shot that you want. And that is where it stops a lot of people. What I recommend, find an artist that does perspective really well and consistently. A lot of European artists are great that way. And you don't have to steal their shot at all. Like you don't, none of the buildings, anything. What you want is just look at it for their perspective pattern and say, okay, I can kind of see that one point is going here, one point's going here. And if it's a 3-point, the other point, and you can use that in your own panel and then create your own scene in that, and you'll have perspective that'll work. You won't have to do that long before, because I did that a little bit when I was learning. It really, really worked for me. So I don't want to not say that. Anyway, step 2 is taking your basic understanding of anatomy from anatomy books, closing those, and then moving on to drawing from comics and drawing from life. I recommend drawing from comics more than life. You want to be a comic artist, and even if you want to be like a film designer, that kind of thing, the best comic artists do the best anatomy in a way that is, you can learn it in a dynamic way. And it is a ton of sketches and a lot of work. And this is really where you spend all of your time, most of your time. And then you want to be able to learn to put scenes together and learn basic storytelling. And if you understand basic perspective, you can draw things like cars, but you need to practice it. At least give it a little bit of time. I'm going to be honest. I didn't draw a single car until I started working professionally. Not one. Like I just never even tried it. But I had the advantage of working in the studio where I had, a lot of support. So if I ran into trouble, well, I could just go to Billy Tan's desk, for instance, and say, hey, I don't know what to do here. And I could get help. And then step 3, the last stage of learning how to draw, before you start experimenting with styles and that kind of thing, you call that step 4. But the next step is to start working on finishing details like rendering, working on shadow placement, and getting really good at using a core shadow or just using a single light source, probably a better place to start, and really putting panels together compositionally with lighting and really focusing on, getting great compositional shots. And then from there, it's really, when you have like a baseline kind of established, that's when you want to start looking at different influences. And that's, you probably are working by then, by the time you really start to grow from your initial influences. So yeah, there you go. That would be my recommendation. It's a very broad question, Dave, so it's a broad answer, and I'm stopping now. Okay.
Done. All right. Next super chat comes from James Draws for £10. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
James.
much.
Hi Meredith. Hi Dave. Watching all the way from Northern Ireland. My question for you both is: if and when you have a creative block, how have you overcome it? Like relaxing or exercising, etc.
I
iron.
Yeah, I tend to, I'll come down here, and when I really don't want to work, I end up watching YouTube. I gotta say, there's a YouTube channel I've been watching a bunch over the last couple of days. It's called Screen Rant, and he does these fake movie pitches, and they're hilarious. Anyway, I would recommend it. I think it's pretty funny. So I watch some of that stuff, and I just kind of sit and relax. Also, I'm playing Conan Exiles right now. For any of you that are familiar, it's a survival game.
That's really how you get over a block, though.
No, but what I'm saying is I'll come down here, and because I just can't get right into it, and I'll sit and I'll say, okay, I'm gonna watch how to do whatever in Conan Exiles, whatever, it doesn't matter, whatever you're into, it doesn't matter what it is. But point is, I give myself 20 minutes to just sit and just watch a video.
And then get up.
And I say at the end of that video, and I don't have the patience to watch anything real time. I watch everything almost double speed.
Right. Yeah, I've watched that.
Yeah. And then
why are you watching the Chipmunks?
Because I can't sit there and watch somebody talk.
I think the key when you're having, first of all,
and that will, but I just want to say, and then you have to start. Sure. I don't care how blocked you are. I don't care how bad you just have to
just put the pencil on the page. That was the other thing I was going to say is like, I know as a writer, sometimes I change up how I'm writing. So if I'm on the computer, I'll just get out a notebook. And I've said this before, I'll like write a journal entry or a diary entry as a character that I'm like maybe blocked working on. How would I feel if this happened? Or sometimes just the process of changing how you're doing something, if you can do that, helps you unblock.
Well, and also
keeps you moving forward, even if
I think you would
not
agree
in
with
the direction.
I think you would agree with this though. Doing something poorly is better than just sitting there staring at a screen.
Yes.
And so if you write something and you give yourself something and it's all garbage, you're still going to find things you like in there. And then it gives you something that you can that gives you your ball of clay that you can start pulling things out of and play with.
Exactly.
So what you want to avoid with drawing and with writing is just staring at something blank.
Just start typing.
Yeah. Put it
Even
in
if
there.
you're just typing ideas of what you want to do, because eventually suddenly you'll roll those ideas, just put what's in your head.
Yep.
And eventually, as you're typing, those ideas will roll into starting to tell the story. Yeah, I think I agree. Agreed.
Well, and a lot of the writers of the great American novel would stop and never write anything again, and I think that's just fear of you're respected, but you're only as good as your last job, and they know. And so, what if your next book is garbage, and now all of a sudden that respect goes away? That will stop you. All right, go ahead.
All right, Indie Comics Cast has a super chat for $5. People study your work building their style. What is one thing you would tell people not to do until they have more understanding of basics? Joe.
I'm sorry.
What people study your work to build their style.
Yes.
What's one thing you would tell people that they should not do until they have more of an understanding of the basics?
Oh yeah. Actually, that's a really great question. Yeah. The number one thing I would say to avoid is rendering. Just leave it out. I put tons of rendering on things. I really like it. I think it adds a lot to the appeal of the artwork. Master Dan says Dave needs more caffeine. Let me take another drink of my coffee here. It's getting cold too. I would say rendering is it's a flavor you put on top of your art, and you can lose so much. It can be something that really you can struggle with, and it's not the best thing to focus on when you're trying to learn. So I would say that would be absolutely number one.
Perfect. I like that. I think people try to over render before they understand how to actually draw. I see that all the time.
Yes. And I avoided rendering for a long time, you
can't hide bad underdrawing with your rendering.
You can't, and you can actually even make it worse. You can actually take a really good drawing, and if you don't render well, you can destroy it. I've done that. I still do that. It still happens. But I would say, just leave the rendering out. If you can, what you really want to do is, you have a light source, and away from the light source, you have your shadow. And you need to be able to break down every figure that you have in terms of all the major forms, and they're all just rounded forms in space, shadow on the other side. And then, that's and you want to focus all your energy on learning that. Once you're really comfortable with that and you're not putting shadows directly in your light and other things are working, then that's a great time to start looking at rendering.
Whitney Piet Walton has a super chat for $5. Whitney says, hey, I'm drawing my own little 2-page comic and I'm having difficulty drawing a pose. I was curious, how do you go about problem solving your poses? Thank you for the super chat, Quentin. Sorry,
yes,
Quentin.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Do you get out reference when you have trouble with the pose?
Sometimes I'll get out reference. Yeah, that'll happen. You know, it's okay. So I've had the same piece of paper for a few weeks now. Let me actually go back to so I can see what I'm drawing on the screen here. Give me a second, guys. Where's my? Here it is. Okay. So I'm going to draw somebody punching. Here he is. Here's his hand coming out. Right, let me zoom in so you can actually see what I'm doing here, because I don't want to draw this big. Figure it out here. Okay. Oh, and now I'm off the screen. I'll zoom back out because it's too hard to move the paper. Okay. Still kind of off the screen. Okay. So I've got my arm here, and if I put the body here and, you know, one leg here and one leg here, there's no force in that arm at all because the whole body is just stationary, and you can push out with your arm this way, but it's really not going to give you any power because this would be your anchor of your power, and your power ultimately always kind of comes up from your feet. So whereas, you know, if I was to go, I don't want to draw above it because it'd be off the page, but I'll draw the same arm. And this is one example, but there's so many places, and I wish I had a better like recall for the places where I've really run into this. But I'll draw the head in basically the same position, and now what I want to do is put power through this arm, and so I want to push the body right through it. And so I'm going to actually bring this arm back, and so this arm is pulling back this way, and then directing power this way into the punch here. And I'm going to put my leg here, and this one is just to balance my figure. So he's got a place where he's standing. This is a terrible figure, I know, but, and then the other leg is going to be here behind, and this is where my weight's going to come up. And you can see that I actually, because my line kind of comes here and then like this, I'm actually not getting as much power through that figure. If I was to do something that has more of a direct line through that leg and then through the body, I would get much more power out of that. And it's all about, you want to direct the force through your body. I'm going to do something much more extensive about this, you know, very soon in a video.
Okay, but perfect.
And so, yeah, I tried to work out those kinds of issues where I can see that I have hitch points where like a figure just looks like it's kind of hitched or tight somewhere. I want it to be tight at the end of your range of motion. So you bring your arm back there, that's as far as I can go. And that I feel tension there. That's good tension. Where I don't want to feel tension is when I'm like pinning myself. And you can see that in your figure. A certain amount of that is you really need to get kind of a feel for it. But you really, like, you think about your own body and think about, you know, you want to push your body to the limits. You know, you bring your arms out and you don't want them just here. You want them, oh wait, that's about as far as I can go. And I can feel tension there. And that gives you a dynamic pose, that kind of thing, along with, you know, other things. So yes, I'm going to, it's a broad topic.
Okay.
I have a lot of thoughts on it. And I'm certainly not the best at it. And actually, it really is going to lead very well into the book of the week. I'm super excited about this one.
All right. Well, we're not there yet.
Yep.
Next super chat comes from Wayne Blackman. Thank you so much, Wayne. His super chat is for $10. Hey, guys. Much love. Dave, thanks for the suggestion of changing to a 2H lead. It has made an incredible improvement in my pencil art. It's amazing how making small adjustments can make a difference. A big difference.
Thank you very much. And I really appreciate that, too, because I have been trying to learn acrylic paint for years and years, and I've like convinced myself that there's some kind of magical secret to it, and that's why I can't do it like I'd like to do. I know that's not the case, but whatever. And so I'll go to forums. I never post on anything, but I'll read comments, and people will say, you know, this artist that I really like, what tools do they use? And you'll inevitably get the freaking guy on there, or girl, whatever, that will say, it's not the tools, it's the artist. Any good artist could draw with a crayon. I know that a good artist can draw with a crayon. That's fine. But I want to know what they used to get the results that they get. It does make a difference. And using 2H lead versus HB or a soft lead, it make all the difference in the world. Using good paper, by the way, if this is the first time you guys are watching.
Well, we have a paper question. an RK from RK for €5 who wants to know what kind of paper you use.
Well,
thanks a lot for your work. First time able to see you live. Greetings from Berlin.
At Berlin.
Yeah.
I've been to Berlin. That's great. Thank you so much for coming and watching and staying up late too. This is late in Berlin.
Yeah. It is 6 hours ahead.
So this is Strathmore and this is 200 series.
And the paper makes a difference.
You want to duck out of the way? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the pad.
I think you've already.
I've never shown them the pad.
My hair's not awful today.
Yeah, actually, great.
Yeah, well, I would not say I always look great, but it is what it is.
Okay. This is what I'm using right here. So it's Strathmore, Bristol, acid-free, heavyweight, smooth. So you can read it, and yeah, it's 200 series. So it's thinner than some of the heavier Strathmore, but I actually like it better. I feel like it has a better surface. I can be superstitious though, so I might just be like, I draw one page that I like on it, and then I decide it's the paper, and I have to use this paper. And it comes pre-lined, so it comes in a pad. You get a bunch of paper with it. So that's what I use, and it works great for me. I actually had this just to give you a good idea that it's good paper. Bat, I don't want to say demanded. That's too strong a word. But seriously requested.
He demanded.
Pretty much. He really did.
Yeah, too skinny him. He totally demanded.
Yeah.
Get me better paper is what he said. So
I was using the DC paper and it was awful. It went through, there were times it was really good. There was times it was bad.
Yeah, I struggled with getting paper too.
And so he said, yeah, please, you need to get better paper. And
And you would also say, as a penciler, you liked paper with a tooth.
Yes.
And as an inker, you like a smooth paper.
Actually, yeah, and that's a good point. Now, I mean, generally speaking, you're going to be inking things yourself, or somebody else is going to be inking it, and so that's a big factor. I like a toothy paper. A little. When I say toothy, I just mean this is hot.
You don't like the smooth. You like the vellum.
Right. It drags the pencil a little bit more. I like it, but inking is a nightmare on that, and I've worked with inkers where I'll give them a whole book of that stuff, like Danny Mickey, for instance, and he's like the nicest guy. He won't really say anything, but
because the vellum picks up the paper on the nib of the pen.
It's a nightmare.
Look at me. I'm not even an artist, and I know this because I've been around these guys for a long time.
I'd be talking to Danny. We'd be doing our art split, and so how that works is, and you can choose to do it however you want, but we would sit down. The penciler gets 2/3 of the paper, or the original art. The inker gets 1/3, and so to try and be somewhat fair, because there's always going to be one or two really strong pages right off the bat, and especially like if there's a book where I've done books where you have one double-page spread that is like killer, and it's going to be worth a lot of money. Not that we ever worry about, but we do. I mean, and the rest of the book is like garbage. There's just nothing to sell. And so I'll just say, look, why don't we just split the double-page spread? That way we both get a piece of it and nobody gets screwed, Because since I get first choice and I get 2 pages, I could just take it and go, haha, But I don't do that. Anyway, we'll talk and he'll just kind of let it slip. Yeah, the paper is killing me. I had a rough month. And I'm like, I'm basically ruining somebody's entire month of work by the paper I choose. So, something to think about.
All right. Mark C has a super chat for $10. My favorite members of the late 80s class are Greg Capullo, Ron Garney, and Lee Weeks. I think they're just awesome artists, just as the artists of the main image guys, but are actually better storytellers. Just as good as the artists of the main image are, but actually better storytellers. I think you missed a word there.
Yeah, no, I hear it. Yeah, and thank you very much. And yeah, they are incredible artists. I remember when I got into comics at Image, there was very much a California school versus a New York school, and there was a bit of a schism there. And I mean, it's it's not like it was we'd meet at conventions and there would be a standoff in the rope. What are you doing?
I'm live on Instagram from the couch.
That's awesome.
At Finch Meredith on Instagram if you want to see behind the scenes footage from the couch.
I want to watch the back of my head while I draw and how messy my desk actually is.
Oh yeah, you want to see what the floor looks like? I won't do it, Dave. I won't do it to you.
Look, I'll show you how messy it is right here. Look at that.
Yeah, that's your desk. That's not the floor.
Yeah, the floor is really bad.
I won't show the floor.
It's not like there's garbage everywhere. It's just it needs to be vacuumed. And I spilled coffee.
It might be a coffee stain on the floor.
It's coffee stain.
So
anyway, I forgot. Oh, right, yeah. Anyway, so and I think the biggest source of that schism was the New York artists were, okay. Look, they were jealous. I gotta say they were jealous because the image artists were like making hand over fist and everybody loved them, and the New York artists were better storytellers. They put more focus into storytelling. They were more writer-friendly artists, and they were doing incredible work and beautiful work. But the fans loved the big panels with everything sticking out. It was a fad at the time.
So,
but I agree. I definitely I love the image artists. I still love all that stuff. But if I had to choose, I like an artist that can really tell a story. Because I want to immerse myself in it again, which is why I'm so excited about this week's book of the week.
So before we get to that, I have another super chat, but I have to address your chair.
Okay.
Because everybody's like, "Oh, how old is that chair?" Because it's split and it's paint all over it.
Yeah.
Paint and ink, and it's split at the back. And I bought him. Look, there's a nice new chair there. I bought him other new chairs.
So the way that I paint when I paint with acrylics, I end up doing a lot of finger mixing and rubbing, and then I'm like, my chair.
It's all over your chair. It's awful. That chair, you've had that chair longer than you've had me.
Yeah, it's true.
And then we like the Spider-Man blanket too. So, all right, I'm getting off Instagram. There you go, Instagram Live, and the video. There you go. So the next super chat comes from 81 Modus for $2.
Yep.
81 wants to know: is Fabok your protege? And if so, how did that happen?
I met Jay in 2009. He emailed samples, and he was local. And it's crazy how it happened too. I can't believe you showed my Spider-Man blanket.
Are you embarrassed?
We're in the basement, man. It's cold down here. Yes, I'm embarrassed. And I just happened to be looking at emails, something I'm not the best at, and I saw it. Like I just said, I just want to check it out, and so I took a look, and I was really impressed. Very easily, I could have just missed his email, and I'm not the best with email, so it was meant to be.
It was. All right, next super chat comes from Other Minds for $19.41. I love the odd number. You. Howdy, Dave and Meredith. Meredith. It's the Meredith. A question inspired by the film Chasing Amy. Please describe the hierarchy in the comic industry: pencilers, writers, inkers, colorists. And 1994, the year Wonder Woman was created. 1941. Sorry.
I was gonna say
1994. 1941, the year Wonder Woman was created.
Okay, so it's not a simple hierarchy because it really depends on. Pencilers are more powerful than inkers. Inkers and colorists are, I would say, in a similar kind of position, and writers are more powerful now than anyone. It never used to be that way. It was always pencilers, and writers were, not as powerful. But that's really changed, and it's been that way for quite a while now. I don't see that changing back, especially with comics being picked up by Hollywood the way they are. It's really writers that are, I want to say, the beneficiaries of that. But a good writer on something creator owned, if you have a partnership, you own it too, and you're a co-creator, and they're very generous that way. But they definitely drive that ship, so it gives them a lot of power. But an inker is going to be more powerful than a penciler if they're better known, and if you really want to work with a colorist that works with people that are more well known than you and maybe better, then yeah, the colorist is definitely going to, like I would say, when I work on a project, I pick my inker and I pick my colorist. But it's not that simple because I need to pick an inker and a colorist that are willing to work with me. It's not like I can just go to this one and that one, So yeah. And I could very easily, and I've done it. I've said, I'd really like to work with this colorist. And they say, no, they're, too busy or not interested. And that happens. So yes. On the other hand, inkers don't generally pick their pencilers. I mean, that would be pretty unusual. So yes, pencilers are more powerful in terms of influence, I would say.
So I have the message from Lee.
Okay.
Lee says, I can't attach your message, but Dave, thanks for liking my inks on your ultimatum page. Could you show my page on your stream next week, please? Thanks for the inspiration and amazing work.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be great. You got a deal for
There
sure.
you go. Thanks for the super chats too,
Yeah.
Lee. All right. Next super chat comes from Kelvin Gordon for $4.99. Kelvin says, hey, Meredith and Dave, you guys are dope. Here's my question for you. What's the best way to get better at inking art?
I'm still bummed out about you
Showing your
filming
chair.
me while I didn't know from behind with my ridiculous looking blanket that I stole from the kids years ago. Like, oh man, people come down here, and if I can hear them coming, I take it off because I don't want to look like a total moron.
The stream got a little.
This would not have been, if it was up to me, I
sneak
would not have
peek.
shown that.
Ooh.
I'm like laughing, but really I'm like,
Secret Life of Dave. You're gonna. Is this one of those where when we're done at the end of the night, you yell at me for?
no.
Come on.
But you know,
I wouldn't have. There was nothing embarrassing.
There are so many.
You're so cute, sitting there with your little blanket, drawing your picture.
Okay. There are so many. Like I feel like I have I'm a very cool person.
We're not cool.
Say, I know. You know what? If nothing else,
pretend. Like, are we really pretending we're cool?
I watch these things, but I thought I was, and I've been
cool.
watching this stuff live back. Yeah, or not live, but you know what I mean. I watch it back, and I'm like, wow, I am so not.
Yeah,
cool.
we're not cool.
Not the person I thought I was.
No.
So I have like this whole pretense of who I think I project myself as.
You are the person I think you are.
Yeah, well, there you go. And yeah, I feel like this whole live stream, if it's done one thing, is just completely broken down any image anybody has of me as being cool.
Nobody thought you were cool, Dave. We all know you're just the nicest person.
Okay, please.
Should I stop now?
Yes.
Okay. JDSCT has a super chat for $10 from Lee. Oh, what happened? How did I get that? Sleaze. I copied it. Where is it?
How did you get that?
Oh, is that JD asking Lee's question? And then I already saw Lee's question. JD, How sweet are you?
Well, thank you, JD.
Yeah, that's so sweet. JD, that was so sweet. I was going back through the stream when I saw Lee, and then JD I didn't even see that. We have the best stream ever.
We sure do.
People are the best. We love you. All right. Then that makes the next super chat from the Angelic Rider for $5. Question, David, do you plot your dialogue boxes before you draw your work, or is there a different method you choose to do your layout?
No. Okay. Yes and no.
He pays no attention to the dialogue.
That's
boxes.
untrue. What I do is and this is the worst.
Oh, that was only when you were working with me.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Did I really ever give you that much trouble with dialogue? I'm
No,
sure I didn't.
I always work it out.
I've been doing this for a long time, man. So the way that I do it is I read the page, and it'll say, Wolverine is angry with this person because of this and this and this. I don't care why they're angry. All I need to know is they're angry. Truthfully, I read the script first. So I read the whole thing and I get a real sense. But when I'm drawing a panel, I need to know essential information. And the other essential information, I get my panel description. This is what's in the panel. That's what's in the panel. And the other essential thing that I need to know is it a long, huge block of text that they're saying, or is it very short? If it's long, then I'll plan for it. If it's short, I don't even think about it because I know it's easy enough to place. And so, when I'm laying out a page, I even brought out paper for this purpose. This is from my perspective kind of video. All right, so I'm going to lay out a panel that's shaped like this. And it's going to be just a close-up of a face. I'm not going to put the face directly in the center of the panel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to divide it. I don't divide it. It'd be too much work, but just mentally, this is what I'm thinking. Divide it into thirds. So I want my face to be kind of on here, just like this. I'm a little low from it, but that's all right. And then, so here we go. He's smiling. He's very happy. And so that would be my face. If it's a small dialogue box, I know I can get away with it right there. And they generally will go over the panel border too. If it's a huge amount of dialogue, and here's my same panel, kind of same. And then I could just do something like this. And maybe I put a window behind them. I don't want it to just be open. So there you go. And you see them. And then that gives the writer a ton of place to put the dialogue. So it's very simple to plan for that. And that's about as far as I ever go with it. I don't think, oh, what is it exactly saying? It's not important. I have too many things to be worrying about to worry about that. So I just, make sure to not draw the writer into a corner. And it's impossible to truly draw a writer into a corner, because what they'll do is they'll just cover your artwork. So I do it for my own art self-preservation than really anything else. I want to make sure that I don't spend forever drawing this cool arm and it gets covered by dialogue. Are you alive?
No, I'm not live. I was.
I said,
okay.
Are you alive?
No. Here we go. I want to respond to the live things. Dave's blankie. Dave's from Mike Stewart.
You have
Nick
ruined
from
me.
Detroit. The Finch image is blown away. Sam Super. How cozy is the blanket?
It's cozy.
Earl of Sandwich. So cool.
It's cozy.
It's the blanket of power. Zatenna.
It's
Vegas David. You're cool to us.
I'm so glad. Thanks.
Kevin Mandeville. Meredith just let us all into the Batcave without Batman's permission. Ha ha ha.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true.
Totally true.
I would not have shown the blanket. I'll tell you that right now. Would not have happened.
All right. The next super chat comes from Chris Fanning for $25. Chris says, and thank you for the super chat, Chris.
Thank you very much.
Have my super great wife, Rebecca, watching for the first time. Rebecca, thank you so much for being here. And then Chris says, thanks for the entertainment. We do our best.
Yes, thank you very much to both you guys.
Rebecca, you not only were here for the first time, but you also got to see the first time behind the camera. See, I'm always getting my face exposed unintentionally. There you go. Dave got a little stream behind the camera.
Drinking cold coffee now.
It's old coffee? There's not enough Baileys in that coffee
No,
now,
it's
is
cold.
there? Oh, it doesn't matter. There's Baileys in it.
Yep. All right. Let me clean this up just a little bit more.
The Angelic Rider has a super chat for $2 to say, man, thank you for that. And before we slide into the book of the week, because we're coming up to that next, we have 641 people watching, 400 likes. So let's everybody hit that like and subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed. Dave is at 97.1 thousand subscribers.
It's crazy.
Let us see if we can get him to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the month.
That would be great.
There's lots of time to do it.
You know how much more, though, Meredith? I really want to focus on the people, all of you guys that are already subscribed.
No, of
I
course.
want more. I want to grow, but I really appreciate, because that's one thing I feel like we always say, hey, please subscribe. I'm saying this. I think I've said, how many times have I said this? But yeah, I always feel like it's being disrespectful to people that are already here.
No, it's not. We love the community. Right. I don't know how to describe this, but when you find something that you love and that brings you joy, I think you want to share that with people and give them the same amount. I personally think that. That's why I'm open about my faith, because my faith gives me a lot of joy. And so I share because I want people, I think that's what this is for.
And I'm not open about my faith at all, because I'm always very, I don't want to be, it's very easy to start, I fully respect somebody not believing in God. I certainly understand the position. And last thing I'd want to do is be like, this is what you need to believe. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm not saying I don't understand that.
I know you do, but
that's not how I share. That's not
no, it's not. But I'm always very.
I know. Okay, so we got a few super chats that I feel like should we just do book of the week and then we'll get to the super chats?
Because I'm pumped about this one.
All right, we're gonna do book of the week and then get back to our super chats.
All right.
I'm copying and pasting them, so I have them.
Okay, so book of the week this time is, and this is ridiculous. Okay, I got to tell you guys, I have one next week that it actually occurred to me after I brought this one out that I really want to show you guys, and I'm going to show you next week. And it's something that I think A lot of you will loosely know, but you won't have seen this book, so I'm excited. This one, I have a feeling a lot of people have seen. It's Battle Angel Alita. This is the second book, and it's so popular. I've been trying to avoid more popular books because you guys know them, but I'm just so pumped about this. And the reason is, the truth is that I just have not been reading comics for a while. You know, I look at the pictures, but it's easy to kind of just, you know, lose track of it and lose track of what I love about it. And I started reading this book. I've had this book for years, actually. Well, a few years. And I just started reading it, and I am loving the story so much. It's so great. The artwork is incredibly inventive. I'm seeing some, and it's amazing how much more I get out of the art really reading the story. So I don't want to go into a synopsis of the story, but she's fighting in this kind of, you know, rollerball sort of tournament, and some of the action is just so outrageously well done. Now that I'm looking, you know, there are just amazing shots in here. Just, you know, it's so dynamic with all the speed lines and everything. This is a book that Joe Benitez was really into at Top Cow, and I never gave it a chance because it's not really what I was interested in at the time, so I just ignored it. But I think it was a real mistake for me to do that. Look, that's such a great figure, and all the way through, just the choreography is so incredibly well done. And when I talk about figures, you know, working off of balance and having push points, this figure, you can see her whole body is curving into her foot here, and that's where she's coming to a stop, and she's also putting some pressure on her arm here, and so she's got her hand back as it's kind of, she could actually even be dragging that back here, but, and this figure here is skating backwards this way, and so all of his weight is being pushed on this back leg, and you can see his whole body pushes down into that leg. It's, you know, it's very, very dynamic. This is one of my favorite panels, this one right here. And I have never done this. I'm going to try it. By the way, I love that figure too. But every line in this picture, he's got a basic framework of detail, very basic. And then all of his lines follow the force of his blast. And then he just opens it up to like a kind of a light. And I've never tried it. I really want to try this. And I've got a lot of anime manga. On my shelf, or at least a decent amount, but I tend to not really look at it beyond a few certain things. You know, it's easy to look at work that you have that you really like and get something out of it, but not, you know, ignore other things. And I feel like I'm really getting things out of this artwork that I just wasn't before, and it's really blowing me away. And what's mostly blowing me away, though, honestly, is just the story. Like, I love the story, and I'm so excited about being, you know, a comic fan again, because it's easy to lose that. So yeah, this is my book of the week. I just think it's amazing. And, you know, there you go. I can't really comment on the art as much as I'd like to, just because it's so different than what I do. This is my book of the week, honestly, Meredith, as a fan. So,
all right.
And, you know, I do think that there are so many incredible figures, you know, and there's so many pages in here. I want to find one more and I'll let you move on.
All right. No, I'm going to do, while you're finding one more, I'm going to address Carlos Brosa. I saw your comment. We do know some Brazilian comic book artists.
We do. And before you say,
I worked with Iguara.
Check out that figure.
Joe Prado.
Really amazing.
Ivan Rice.
There's so much to get.
We do know them. So thank you so much for your question. It's not that I don't see them all the time, but I also have to get the super chat questions in there because people paid to have their questions asked. So that being said, let's move on to the next super chat question, which was from Jerry Rasco for $20. Jerry says, a question for Meredith. I just finished drawing my first creator-owned comic that I also wrote. I drew from my plot, but now I'm going back and scripting dialogue. Any tips on how to keep the dialogue paced well and feeling natural? Read it out loud and read it like you would read a conversation. And if it doesn't, like, act it out. Act out your dialogue, because I've done that. And as soon as I say it out, like I think in my head, it's working. But as soon as I say it out loud, I'm like, nobody would speak that way. And then immediately I know the right way to fix it. And the other suggestion I would make is once you've written out what you think you want people to say, go back and take out words. Like, I think I certainly erred on the side of being far too verbose when I first started dialoguing.
Everyone does.
Yeah. So go back and then just be brutal with cutting things that are like expositional that you don't need and you think you need to explain. Just cutting things so that they're succinct and to the point, and then put it away for a day or two and come back and reread it. Taking a step back and then rereading it, I think, is also very helpful. So those are my suggestions. That's what I would do. But I think you'll find the most help comes from reading it out loud. Because then it actually, you know, if it flows. Does it flow? Like if I'm speaking it, does it flow? Because if it doesn't flow as I'm saying it, it doesn't flow in somebody's head reading it.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's very good advice.
Next super chat comes from another one from Indie Comics Cast for $5. Indie Joe says, we are building a show with mentors working one-on-one with artists. We have Rob Marzullo and other guests. Would be honored to have you. Joe, I'm going to speak for Dave on this one because I know he's super honored that you would ask. He does not have time right now. Touch base in 6 months. I know you want to say yes. You want to say yes to everything, Dave.
Yeah, but he's got Robert Marzullo on there.
I know, but then he can add you in 6 months.
Watch this.
We've got.
I'm going to do it.
No,
email me. I'm going to do it.
You
can't stop me.
I can actually. I can.
Can't.
I can stop him. He doesn't have time. Please. I'm not saying never. I'm saying not right now. Can we get moved into our new house? Can we get at least that accomplished before you take on something else? Thank you very much. We have another super chat from Tag for $5. Tag says, you have to know we are cool and we would not be here if you weren't cool. So enjoy your blankie, Dave.
Oh, look at that. Tag's the best. There you go. How do you like that? You know? I agree.
And I'm going to read Corey's out of turn because Corey had a super chat for €2. I also have a blanket right now. No blanket shaming.
Excellent.
All right. And then we have a super chat from Andre Malcolm Tattoo. Good to see you this week, Andre. Andre's super chat is for $49.
Wow.
And 99 cents.
Man.
What's good, Dave Meredith? Life is good right now. Would you ever draw Conan versus Thulsa Doom? Peace and love to the family. Thanks so much, Andre.
Yeah, thank you very much. Really, thank you. That would be amazing to draw. And that's like, for me, that's proper Conan. My first experience with Conan was the movie. And then it was the books after that. I was actually in high school when I read the books. My best friend in grade 9 in high school had the Conan books, and we were reading them together. But yeah, that would be awesome. I'm going to say right now, I'm going to do it. When exactly Meredith will let me get away with doing it?
I'll add it to the list. That's a 2-weeker.
It's a 2-weeker. And how great would that be for a 2-weeker, though? And I would really like, I won't necessarily make it look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I do want to actually use, that, I guess if there's, what's a word for it? That, that version.
All right, perfect. Vegas David has a super chat for $5. Perhaps more for Meredith, but I'm having trouble trying to create some backstory without too much narration in my webcomic. How would you solve this? I think you need to bring it into conversation. If the backstory, first of all, ask yourself, is the backstory really critical to the story you're trying to tell? Or do you just need to have it for yourself?
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Undermine your character.
Not to interrupt, but I'm sorry, Meredith, but backstory really tells the writer who the character is, so they know the decisions the character will make.
Right. Like if the backstory doesn't add to the story the character's going on, I don't think it's necessary to incorporate it in your comic. Like, because if it matters to the story, then you would naturally incorporate it as part of the dialogue, like if it was really important. Do you know what I mean? Like you'd be, like you and I would have, like if you're having a conversation about marriage and you would say, I used to run whenever we'd have a fight. That's part of our backstory that we both know. and you just touch on it in that conversation.
Yeah, well, we get into a fight and I run, and then you first of all, as a
I
writer,
could say to my friend, he does this all the time,
That's
and then
right.
I've given backstory.
And also, just from a plot standpoint, you'd know if we have a fight how I'm going to react.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
yeah, it makes the characters much more real and consistent when you know who they are and what they'll do.
But I think it's important, David, to understand, not you, David, but Vegas David, to understand how is the backstory for you, or do you need it to drive your story forward? And if you need it to drive your story forward, then you need to maybe look at not making it like incorporating it into the story itself, so that it's not just narration.
And always bear in mind how they ruin Wolverine with a backstory.
There you go. I have nothing to add after that. Allison McClone that's a super chat for $4.99. She wants to say, my absolute favorite manga.
Oh, hey, how great is that? And thank you very much.
That was the book that most inspired my art.
Yeah, well, I mean, what a great way to go. It's great stuff. And I really, there's so many pages in that book, and that's only book 2. There's book 1. To be honest with you, I actually don't know how many books there are. So I'm going to be getting the rest now. And what's exciting for me is I'll be getting the rest because I want the art. I want the story. And, I just miss that. It's been too long since I've really just been reading, I think I'm going to start reading more comics again. It makes
With all your free time? You got a choice, video games or comics?
Well, I read them in that room over there.
It's so funny you say that, because as you say that, Past Master Dan says, it always made me mad to find my comics on the back of the toilet.
Yeah, well.
Oh, too funny. All right. So I've got a couple super chats here that I missed, I believe. And you poisoned the stream.
I did?
You have, because I just saw somebody say, it's better to ask. I can't remember who it was because now I've scrolled past it. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. So there you go. Who said that? Charles Petrie. I feel like Charles. Yeah, it is. It was Charles. Charles. Banned from the stream now.
Banned.
Well, I'd have to ban you, David, because you're the one that poisons it. He poisons my kids saying stuff like that. Just ask for better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
I'm always torn on that. You want to give them good values, but I think at the same time, lying to them about fundamental things for their own good, when they see through that, then they just don't trust you at all.
Yeah.
So
you got to be honest.
I think so.
All right. Next super chat comes from Dean HNZ. I want to say, I said HNZ because now Isaac's got me, but HNZ, because he also is in New Zealand. So he says Z, not Z, but Z felt like if I'm with Dean, anyway, New Zealand. Dean H New Zealand is actually what it stands for. Would you consider, can I get to the super chat question? Like how much sequitur can I bring to a super chat question?
I don't know.
Probably could bring a lot more than what I'm doing, but I'm actually going to ask Dean's question now for his $5 super chat.
Thank you, Dean.
Would you consider drawing Samson knocking down the pillars? Norman Rockwell drew this once, and it would be cool to see your interpretation.
Is that really Norman Rockwell did it? I didn't know that. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun to do. I mean, it's I want to say classic image, but it's been depicted so many different ways, but like a classic
piece of iconography. Is that the right word?
It's oh wow, we're so helpless.
It's Monday.
Mythology.
There you go. But is it myth? Or does it actually happen? No, I'm kidding. George Arnold super chat for $14.99. The first week I've tried to draw along. Your Wonder Woman looks amazing. Random question. Any interest in drawing Godzilla? Thank you so much for the super chat, George.
Yes, thank you very much, George. And I hope the drawing along is going well. Godzilla. Okay. Yeah, I would love to draw Godzilla. Now, in terms of, I don't know if you mean just like in general or on the show here. I don't want to say no to the show here. I don't even know if that's what you mean, but I'm answering it as if it is. Uh, Godzilla has so many scales. I love drawing dinosaurs, and Bendis knew that I thought it was a lot of fun. He thought, oh, I'm the right kind of artist to draw Savage Lands, and so he had the Avengers, and this is a long time ago now, but he had the Avengers show up in the Savage Land, uh, just so I could draw that kind of stuff. And I loved it, but wow, I was drawing dinosaurs to a deadline hard. It was so I ended up with like the shorthand that was not what I had in my head, something that was very different. Like I had this Arthur Adams kind of, with all the scales and the detail, and I couldn't do it, which is sad.
So some people seem to be having some trouble with buffering. I'm not buffering myself tonight.
Let's see where we're at.
And I'm on our Wi-Fi. So it could be just where people are.
It says here we're in excellent condition now, but I don't want to just say, oh, no, you're wrong.
You're wrong.
If you got buffering, you got buffering. You
have to say it. I'll say it. Check your own internet this week, people.
Man, we're the worst.
Well, you're not, but I am. James Draws has another super chat for $2. And he says you guys are cutting out a bit. It's not us, it's you.
You know what? I'm sure it probably is us.
Thank you for the super chat, though.
Yeah,
I'm so defensive. I'm so defensive of our stream, the quality of our stream. Oh dear.
I wouldn't even call it defensive. I would call it you being offensive.
I'm offensive.
But yeah. I tried to get the settings working. I reverted them to what they were. We have very bad internet here, and that's so I might have still.
Hopefully, the new house is gonna be better.
I think it's better this time. It seems better, but I messed with it pretty good last time. So when I did, so it might still be not perfect.
I'm a fortune teller. Greg L. Static Heart says, Meredith. You said on last week's stream that you wanted 95,000 by the next day. I checked. It happened.
Ah, look at that.
So we're going to get to 100,000 by the end of the month.
Well, you know what I want to get? The next video out. That's what I want. That's really, honestly, that's my only, I don't care about nothing. I just want to get the next video out. It's so frustrating to be, 3 weeks almost between a video, and it won't be 3 weeks, but it's going to be enough. And I'm telling myself that's not going to happen. That can't happen. And it has been happening. So
life is, like I said, this is why he's not taking on mentoring anybody right now, because he doesn't have enough time. Jordan Seward, super chat for $2.79. Jordan says, David, love this Wonder Woman costume. Best. Loves it the best. I do too. I have it in my hanging, this cover hanging in my office. I would not sell it for all the tea in China. And I love my tea. Much love.
Yeah.
Jordan.
And that was Jordan.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jordan. And, I'm sure Jordan's been here the whole time, but I haven't seen him. And so, hi, and thanks for being here. It's always great to see.
Always. Yeah. We know you guys. You're part of our family. Like
every time
we see your names every week.
Well, every time, and I know I've said this before, but I see Jordan's name in the comments. And the first time he commented that I saw, I'm sure it's the first time he commented, he went, Dave, like a whole bunch of A's. Yeah. And I wrote back, Jordan. And that's what I see every single time.
Very funny. All right. Next super chat comes from, I rolled right on over that. From Mark C for $10. Thank you so much, Mark. Mark says, issue with writers having more power over a book is that most don't really have a visual eye, especially for comics. Do you prefer to work from plot or full script?
I prefer to work with a writer from full script when they know what they're doing. If they really don't, then I'd prefer to, because the thing is, working from plot can actually create a lot of problems if the writer really doesn't know what they're doing, truthfully. And it seems kind of counterintuitive because obviously, I can fix problems in a script, but I also am, no matter how much of a plot it is, I'm beholden to making sure to get across what they have. And I find if there's a story beat that I want to get in there, even if it's full script, I'll put that story beat in there. Like if, and I use this as an example all the time, but let's say a character pulls a gun out of his holster, fires it and puts it back into his holster. That's not a drawable thing. And editors usually catch that, but there can be more subtle examples of that where it'll work, but it works much better with an extra panel in, or just, a little bit more visual exposition. And I just put that in there. So I don't ever actually feel the need to work from plot, because if it needs to be in there and I think it's going to be more effective, I will just do it. What I don't do, if I can help it, I try very hard to avoid doing it, is to take something out. So if there's something in the story, I feel like I've been very blessed to work with great writers that really know what they're doing and what they're putting into a story. So I don't take things out.
All right. Here's a question for you, Dave, from John Femiani for $4.99. John wants to know, how did they ruin Wolverine with backstory? And he apologizes. Sorry if that reveals my comics ignorance.
Okay, so Wolverine.
This is in Dave's opinion.
In
IDO.
First of all, in everybody's opinion, but okay. So Wolverine, for years, everybody wondered, where did he come from? Who was he? What's his real name? All these kinds of questions. And Marvel, this would have been around 2003 or so, 2002. They were doing X-Men movies. The movie studios were planning a Wolverine movie, and they were going to reveal a bunch of stuff about his origin and what his real name was and all that kind of thing. And so the comics, they really wanted to jump the gun on that and, take some kind of ownership and control over it, instead of just giving it to, a studio to do what they wanted. And so they came out with Wolverine origin, and his name all of a sudden was Hewlett, I think. I can't even remember anymore.
James Howlett.
Thank you. And
Dexter Garner. Who is James Howlett? Name's Manlet.
Yeah. And nobody even really remembers anymore, because Marvel's basically, they haven't said, oh, this isn't, it's still there. Everybody just ignores it. And so because it wasn't really that cool, nobody was really into it. And so now they've lost the question of who is Wolverine, which was such a thing that was really driving interest in the character. And what they put in there is something that they don't even really reference that much themselves, because it's just not that good. So that's what I mean. And how can Wolverine really? I mean, I guess, look, there's always a way to make something work. Smarter people than me, but I don't think that really worked. And okay, I want to say too, it was a good story and phenomenal art. It had art by Andy Kubert, so it was really well done. Covers by Joe Quesada and Richard Eisenhove, who was an old Top Cow colorist and a good friend. So, it was a good book. I just didn't like some things they did with who Wolverine actually was. Can I even say that? I don't know. I feel like I don't want to be cutting down somebody else's work, but It's really not, because I think it was so well done. Yeah.
There you go. All right. This is an interesting question from Paul S. for $5. Paul wants to know, does universal healthcare work well in Canada? There are those in the US who say it doesn't work well. What is your experience?
Okay, so it does, first of all.
It does work well.
It does
but
work
I don't
well.
know that what we have here is even possible.
I don't know. And that's,
States.
Who knows? I'm not interested in.
No, I don't know. I don't know, because we've had it for so long.
We have.
Do you know what I mean? I think it would be significantly harder to do a universal social style healthcare system with a country of 300 million versus when we had it back in the 50s, when I don't know what Canada's population was, but not even what it is now.
Right. I don't want to debate health, because I really don't know. But what I will say from a practical standpoint,
yes,
the downside is that you can have a surgery booked for months and months and just wait forever. Yeah. It can be very frustrating. The wait times can be a real challenge.
But you never have to worry if
you're not going to go to the emergency room
and worry about whether you can afford to keep your finger or not.
That's right.
Cut your finger off.
Yes.
Your finger's going to get reattached.
Yeah. If you have cancer, they will treat you it's
everybody gets the same cancer treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And so, if you're wealthy in the States, is the Canadian system better? No.
Probably not.
Not remotely.
But for the average person, yes. That's another thing you can blame Canada on. I won't sing it. Greg L, Static Art, $2. Great hand videos. Still need help with wrist out poses.
Wrist out poses. Wrist out poses.
Don't.
Greg, you got to email me and show me what you mean, because now I really want to know what that means. And maybe I could help with that. And, just don't tell Meredith, because she's but Greg's been here for quite a while, right? You're going to really begrudge me helping Greg?
No, Greg can email. And I will show you the email from Greg. There. Isn't that nice of me?
Yeah. Because, I don't know what you mean. And I don't want to just not answer. And, I mean, not just that, but, Greg's been here for ages, so.
All right. Next super chat comes from Mark C. for $5. Mark says, if I can run a book to you, check out Bravo for Adventure by Alex Toth from IDW. It's Toth. I shouldn't have to say more. Bravo for Adventure.
Right. You know what? I'm going to write this down. I keep writing stuff down and I give it. Okay, so.
You don't give it to me.
I need to start.
Junior Joseph says it also depends on the province you live in. Hi from Quebec. So maybe Quebec has slightly different healthcare because it's OHIP, right?
Yeah.
Ontario Health Insurance Provider.
I don't know.
OHIP is
all I know
Ontario. Yeah.
Is that I do like the fact that, we're not leaving people destitute for something that like healthcare that I think everybody needs. And these are complex issues I have no answer for. I do know that there are advantages and there are disadvantages. I don't know what they are because
I'll tell you what else.
I'm a comic artist. But
when Hayden had his head injury and they had to send him across the border to Detroit for brain surgery, we never saw a bill.
No, we didn't.
Canadian healthcare system picked up brain surgery.
They did
for our child,
which is incredible.
Yeah,
but also he had to go to Detroit because we didn't have.
It was an emergency, and they couldn't get him to a local Canadian hospital in time.
So I mean, I think the American healthcare professionals and they're phenomenal. Awesome unparalleled, or certainly unbeaten anywhere in the world. But yeah, I do like that you can be poor and you can still get help.
All right. Kevin Mandevil has a question, a super chat for $3.99. Kevin wants to know, David, can you discuss the rule of thirds a bit?
Here we go.
And maybe Nick from Detroit has clarity, like wrist facing out poses like Spider-Man.
Well, we'll figure it out. But okay, so let me grab my paper again. And so the rule of thirds is very, very simple. If I have a panel, I'm going to draw a square, or as close as I can get, simply. And so basically you divide it equally into 3 sections. And so there, I'd say that's pretty well equal. And then this way too. And so what you want to do is these are the points you want to concentrate on. And so if I put a big head here and he's smiling, and so there he is, there's one person, I'll put another person back here, which is why I really like to use a bit of an upward angle. It has a little drama, but also it means that I can really use my rule of thirds, and you can see how that just has a really pleasing kind of an effect. And I'll do the same panel shape again. Here's my thirds, and obviously these are not perfect, but I'll put a big tree here, and now it's not really following a third because it's like a big blocky kind of a thing, but I want it to be here. And then I'll put like some land here, whatever. So it's my big compositional shape. And then I'll put another little tree kind of right here. Similar kind of an effect. That's, 2 good examples of how the rule of thirds works. Maybe I'll bring that down just a little bit so it's just a little bit more there. But yeah, it's pretty simple. You can see it all over. What I would recommend, if you want to really learn the rule of thirds, I could show you these examples, and it's very difficult. Like while my mind's kind of racing doing all this stuff to come up with a lot of examples. Watch a movie. Watch any good movie done by a really good cinematographer. Batman, The Dark Knight, all those movies. Kevin Nolan. Every time I say Christopher Nolan, I say Kevin Nolan. But yeah, there are. I think Steven Spielberg. He did Minority Report. His cinematographer on a bunch of movies around that period was outrageously good. And you can see the rule of thirds being used all over. And there's actually a really great cinematography website that breaks down a lot of what they do. I can't remember what it is, but and also then there is Marcos Mateo Messi. I can't say it. Eric Grove can say it. Anyway, he's got a great book on composition and storytelling. I recommend, and maybe Eric could give us a link. Sorry, Eric.
Right. Next super chat comes from Other Minds for $6.78. Sorry if I missed you discussing it, but have you watched the Wonder Woman movie yet? And what are your thoughts?
Not yet. We are. How far are we into Cobra Kai? Tell me you haven't watched it without me.
It's done.
Oh yeah, we watched the last episode. That's right. Dang.
We're done.
So we just finished Cobra Kai, and we watched the OA last night.
We haven't. Here's the problem. I can't get Dave to sit down for long enough to watch that whole movie.
Well, even the OA was like an hour and a half.
It was just over an hour.
Oh, anyway, it was so long, and I thought, okay, hey, we'll just put this on, and we'll see if we like it, because we're just looking for something. And I figured, okay, it's a TV show to be half an hour. Wrong. Next thing you know, it's like practically 10 o'clock by the time I'm getting back down to work, and I'm panicking. Yeah. But it was a weird show. I mean, I could criticize, but I enjoyed it. So whatever. That's my criteria. Okay, here's another YouTube channel that I love watching. Critical Drinker cracks me up. He's got funny reviews. They're very funny. And he really lays into some movies. And a lot of times there's movies that I really like. And I realize, you know what? Sure, he might be right. That's fine. But I just like the movie. I don't care if it's stupid. I just liked it. So, yeah.
Awesome. And I'm just going to reiterate what Eric is saying, because Eric just did a little post. Our moderator extraordinaire, Eric Grove. But Eric said, just a heads up to all, please don't advertise your social media, YouTube channels, etc. on Dave's stream. Thank you so much. We would really appreciate that as well. It's all about us, baby. But you know what I mean?
It's generally considered to be bad form.
Yeah, it's bad form. It's not cool. So, all right. So speaking of advertising, though, you know what I'm going to advertise? And Eric's been advertising it all night. Do you want to know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Coming February 4th.
Oh, yeah.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
Meredith gets off the couch and in front of the camera for our interview show called Process.
Right. Which Meredith has managed to turn into a show all about Meredith.
That's not true. Stop that.
Meredith gets off the couch. It's all about me.
Come on. It's not flat Meredith.
There you go.
I'm not a disembodied voice. I sit beside you. We talk to people.
I need to leave these things open a little bit. I'm having trouble finding.
They're too wet.
Yeah, I'm not getting the. I think that might be a little better.
So let's tell people who we got on our show so far. Who we interviewed. Richard Friend, who will be on episode 1. We've interviewed who else?
Richard Friend. We got Kyle Higgins. Kyle Higgins, a really good friend of both of ours, and a phenomenal writer, and such a great storyteller. Oh, he was so entertaining. He really was. It's going to be a long interview, but there's no point where you can stop them.
No, yeah.
Because you don't want to, because it's great. And so, yeah, it's going to be long, but it's so good and very informative too. Because
we're talking to people about literally how, as a writer, do you do your job?
Right.
How, as an inker, Richard Friend, he's penciling now, how do you do your job? What's your process behind coming up with your creator-owned book? We talked to Francis Manipool about his job and how he draws. And
how great was Francis?
Francis was so good. He's so informative.
Yeah.
We've talked with Jason Jason, I don't know. I even talked to him on the stream. He's like, whatever you want to call me, Meredith.
Yeah.
We had Dan.
He's long ago given up caring.
Yeah, he really has. We had Dan DiDio on. We got to talk to Dan because, Dan has been a publisher, but he's also been a writer.
Yeah, you can watch the part where Dan says, of all the people that I thought would do something like YouTube, you were the last one I would have ever thought would look this kind of it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, fair enough. It's true.
That was kind of like Dave's still trying to recover from that one.
He's not wrong, though. It's not my natural.
He was joking.
No, of course he was. See how personally I take all this stuff, though.
Pardon?
I said, you see how personally I take all this?
I do.
It was a great interview. He was really good. And I love it. It's from a publisher standpoint. So we got some questions in there like that, but it's also from a writing standpoint.
Yeah.
And
we also talked with our old editor My old editor from
Mine too, on this very book.
That on Wonder Woman. I worked with him on Xena, Warrior Princess. He's been in comics longer than you. He's worked for Marvel. He's worked for DC. He's worked for Zenescope.
He's been in comics for a year
Dynamite.
longer.
Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Matt Idelson. And, great way to get information about the editorial process.
Yeah, and watch somebody with the driest sense of humor.
Very dry.
Probably the guy is the desert of comedy. That actually sounds not how I intended it.
No, he's just so dry. He's like,
it's very dry.
He's got a very dry sense of humor, which is what I've always loved about Matt. All right. Our next super chat comes from Erica Scott. Thank you so much, Erica, for $5. Erica says, hi, D&M. Would love to see Dave draw Batman 66 and or Wonder Woman 77, even if he didn't make it look like Linda Carter or Adam West. Thanks.
Actually, that would be a lot of fun.
Those would be fun to do.
Yeah. I'd like to do that. And thank you, Erica.
That would be awesome. I'm adding it to I have a list. I know you guys don't believe me, but I do have my Monday Night Draw list. I'm going to open up Monday Night Draw suggestions. And I'm adding the Conan onto it and Batman 66. And just in case you don't believe me, hold on. I also have video suggestions, Dave. Do you want me to add anything to your video suggestion?
Sure.
Which is what?
No idea.
Okay. So it was Conan and who? Dull?
Also Doom.
Also Doom, that's right. And then Batman.
I should zoom in a little bit now that I'm starting to do it.
66. Wonder Woman 77. Okay. So just in case you guys think I've forgotten all your suggestions, I have Mary Jane, the Falcon, Doom versus Thing, Witchblade, Spawn, Ghost Rider, Invincible, Juggernaut, Deadman, Raven, Batman Beyond, Danger Girl, Quicksilver, Mr. Freeze, Velocity, Colossus, Scarecrow, Guts from Berserk, The Thing, Darkseid, Deku, Medora, and Shaft from Youngblood. Conan, also Doom, Batman 66, Wonder Woman. See, I add. Like, when you guys make suggestions, I put them on the list. Let you not feel like your voice was not heard.
I feel like we are a little remiss in
Hawk. There we go.
Our list suggestions right now, though.
We're missing women. Is that what you're saying?
I said a little remiss. No.
Oh, because we're not doing them? Because we got to get to the commissions.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. And then you were like skittering off in your own direction for a while. You're like, I'm going to draw this because this is what I want to draw. I'm going to draw this because this is what I want to draw. I can only lead them to the water, people. I can't make them drink.
Skittering off.
Did you like that?
No.
Skittering off.
No, believe
sound like a little bug, actually.
Yeah, it really.
Skitter. JK. Next week, you know what you're doing?
Nope.
Batman on a gargoyle.
Seriously?
Yep. Because you can't do that enough. I'll let you do 3 commissions and I'll let you do 1 non-commission piece.
Here's the thing. We're close enough to 100K. I think we're probably going to hit it by next Monday. Now, here's me. I'm knocking on wood before there. I'm good. Knocked on wood. But I do think actually it's likely that we'll get there.
So you think next week is going to be our 100,000 giveaway?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we're going to do 100,000, you need to have memberships. It has to happen for 100,000. Memberships for the stream.
Yeah, I'll get there.
It's not going to happen next week.
I just don't. You know what?
I know.
I truthfully, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm really not. Like, it's it's not exactly.
This is why you don't want to have memberships, because you don't want to feel like you're asking people for money.
Yeah, and also when you have memberships, then it's a lot of responsibility, and I'm very afraid of it because I'm having trouble keeping up. So I keep saying it. I want to, and I do want to do it because it's what I want to do is a stream. I've said this where it's much more just, focusing on like we'll draw a building or draw a tree or just, fun things like that. And, really get into in depth with suggestions. And I really do want to do it. And I think I can fit that in. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'll tell you right now what's stopping me from doing memberships, Meredith.
What?
You got to have these little badges. And I don't have time to do it.
I know.
Like, I don't have time to make little badges.
They have
I don't have time to, or like I just can't be. Okay. I can't do it. You want to do it?
All Great. Right. I could. Okay, but then I get to pick the badges that I want.
Yeah, that's fine.
You guys don't care? I'll pick badges.
When you say you guys, you
I'm
mean
talking
exactly?
to the stream.
Well, I have a feeling they might care.
No, they don't care.
Okay, I don't know.
They're gonna let Meredith pick their badge.
This is what we want to avoid. I'll let Eric pick. Eric is a lot more reasonable than you are.
Oh, the power.
We need a special Eric badge.
Mike Defonte. I don't know. Is it Defont or Defonte? I'm going to say Defonte. For $5 has a super chat. Hi, Dave and Meredith. Dave, do you have anxiety? And if so, how do you handle portfolio reviews? How did you handle portfolio reviews when applying for comic jobs when you started out? Like the anxiety of having somebody critique your work.
Thank you very much. First of all, I do have anxiety. Absolutely. I really do. I strangely did not get any, I didn't have trouble showing my work. Like it was not a source of anxiety for me. And I think that's because, it's like two contradictory reasons. Number one, I thought that I was better than I was. I really did. I thought I was like the greatest artist ever. And I just didn't know enough to really understand how not true that was at the time. And so it gave me a false sense of confidence. But I also was under the impression that it's like a video game. I just keep getting better and better. And eventually, if I get good enough, it'll all work out. And I would go through like the dark times at home or whatever. But when I was out with my work, I didn't face that one. And I know that's a real thing. I don't know. I think, I also, another reason I didn't have anxiety, I read, and this, I don't know if it was in Wizard or Hero magazine or one of these magazines was giving advice on how to get advice for your work. And the number one rule basically is when somebody's giving you advice on your work, you don't argue, you just stand there and take it. And if you disagree, that's fine, but you really want to think about it. But the point is, you don't ever make excuses for your work. It needs to stand on its own. It's a visual medium. It's not a written medium or an explained medium. And so you can't explain it. You need to it lives or dies on its own. And so I would come up with my work, I would show it, and it's going to live or die on its own. It doesn't matter what I say. At that point, it's out of my hands. And I think there was a certain amount of, fatalism. I did the best that I could with it. But I also knew I'm going to go to this show, I'm going to show it to people, and then they're going to point out the things that suck. And then I could fix it. And that was always really exciting for me. When it was harder for me when I started working, because now all of a sudden I'm supposed to be a professional and I'm competing against, Joe Benitez and Brandon Peterson and Jeff Campbell. J. Scott Campbell is just sitting right over here. And Travis Trest is over here, and watching Jim Lee pencil a page. I mean, he's got a live stream now, so you guys have seen it, but I can't tell you what that's like to be a young artist and be standing behind his desk and watching him draw and never pick up an eraser and just go da, 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 da. Like, it's ridiculous. I went through much harder times then, and that's because that was when I learned that I wasn't as good as I thought I was. So it really shook my confidence when you see really what that level is like.
All right, I'm adding people. People are reminding me people I forgot. First of all, I forgot Gambit.
Yeah, the most important one. Is Charlie Parks here?
I don't know if Charlie Parks is here tonight, but
he bailed on us because we bailed on his Gambit. I'm telling you.
Charlie banning you. But I put Gambit on the list. Jack Burton from Big Trouble in Little China and Aphrodite 9 and Hawk I added. And Louise Beater says, don't forget Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima.
See, there you go. These are ones that we've had mentioned a bunch and you didn't have. So.
Well, that's why you got to read the list once in a while.
Yep. Well, that's good.
Ghost of...
You know what I kind of want to do?
Tsushima.
It's such a fanboy geeky thing.
Creech. I'm putting Creech on too.
I want to draw my Conan Exiles character.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to do it.
No.
I won't put you guys through that. I'm going to draw my D&D character and you guys can watch.
So, all right. I've got a couple super chats. One from Anthony G for $4.99. Anthony says, hi guys. Nothing in particular to say this week. Just hi. Take my money.
Hi, Anthony.
Thanks,
Thank you
Anthony.
very much.
Thank you so much. Shinjiji says, give it a trial run before you actually do memberships just to see how it is.
How do I do a trial run?
No, but you can figure it out with Eric.
Yeah.
That's why Eric's the best. Gaz has $5 super chat. Gaz says, missing from that list is Big Trouble in Little China is Jack Burton. Gaz, I added it. You heard me. I added it. Thank you for the super chat to bring it to my attention. Clicking. And we can't let Henry on the stream next week because Henry Jeremic says, Meredith, you better get ready for next week because I'll be giving you some characters for the list.
Ban
them.
That's all it takes.
Noel Hines has a super chat for $5. Noel says, every respectable artist has drawn Batman on a gargoyle and then laughing. Right. But that's what people want.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just what people want, it's what I want, which is why I wonder, what the heck is with my head that I'm so adverse to doing.
That's right. Batman on a gargoyle, man. You love Batman.
It's awesome every single time.
When was the last time you got to draw Batman on a gargoyle? It's been a year or more.
I did a Batman cover. Actually, link is in the description. I think it's available from Comic Sketcher.
But that's not Batman on a gargoyle.
No, it's Batman.
That's
with
Batman
and
Catwoman.
So you're right. It's been
a while since you got to do like Batman on his freaking gargoyle.
Oh no, actually, I did it for our 50K giveaway.
Did you?
Yeah.
But all right, fair enough. All right.
I did it the week before, and then we gave it away at the giveaway. So the 75K, I only gave away some sketches. So maybe we need to do something better for the.
Well, we'll come up with
some
something.
planning. I mean, 100K, man.
Well, we'll see.
It's an important milestone.
Next week. It's going to be next week. Then we best plan it out.
Well, again, knock on wood. You got wood over there? Because thank you.
That didn't sound like wood.
Really
got
didn't.
more wood.
Is that my picture?
Yeah, it was on the frame.
Okay. We got you. You're good.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I could do more. Just one more. It's never enough. No. Another super chat from Tag for $5. Tag says, badges? We don't need no stinking badges. So.
Yeah.
The stream split.
Okay, so split how? I want to know.
In terms of whether they want and don't want badges.
So maybe I should just not do them then. If there are people that don't want them, like, I don't want to. I don't know.
Maybe you should offer something like as a separate, if you like. The whole point of it is to offer extra content.
Here's what
offer the extra content. You could buy it off Gumroad for like $5 or something.
But I don't have any extra content.
Anyway.
Okay, so
talk about it.
Here's I'm going to tell you guys. Here's my limitations. I'll make it quick because you don't want to hear about. But
I mean, I already know your limitations. I live with you.
Oh man.
Wait! I said I was supposed to be nice to you tonight. You seem like you're in a good mood. Yeah. So
I can't promise something or offer something that I have to mail. I mean, we're doing that for the giveaways when we do that, but that's a very limited thing. I can't do that regularly, especially being in Canada. It's not feasible.
It's not cost prohibitive. It is cost prohibitive.
Yes. Yeah. The giveaways every time it costs quite a bit to send those pictures out, which, fine, but I can't be offering that as a regular thing. So that's off the table right there. I can't say, hey, you get something like Meredith just suggested Gumroad, and I said this to her before, but she doesn't seem to pick up on it.
I said what?
But I can't say if you're a member, then you get something cheaper on Gumroad because I wouldn't know how to.
I didn't say you get it cheaper on Gumroad. I said
or free on Gumroad, whatever. You get it free on Gumroad.
What I'm saying is, instead of doing membership, just offer your stuff that you would offer as a membership. If people want to pay it, they can buy for it on Gumroad.
Sure.
Does that make sense? What I'm saying? What I'm saying is, the stream is membership free, but if people want additional content, then they can go and purchase it on Gumroad.
Another option is like a Patreon kind of a thing. But again, I just don't know how to work these things, and I just don't know if it's really all that important. What I could even do, what I wouldn't mind doing, Meredith? I want to do the stream where we just talk about like just art stuff and I'm not doing this kind of stuff. I could just do it. Do I really need to have a membership to do it? You know what I mean? I could just do it and then everybody could be a part of it. I don't know.
You've got me 2 nights a week now.
We will see.
We'll see what we can see.
Yeah. Tune in next week for me to flip-flop again.
Dave can't make up his mind. Episode 3. All right. Art 9. I put Pit on the list.
Oh yeah, see, there you go. We forgot that one too.
Yeah.
I remember all these, she says.
Hey, I had a lot. You got to admit,
You did.
you're pretty, like, that's a lot. So, oh, I'm sorry. It's yachty time. It's 10 to 10. Where's our ETA on this picture?
15 minutes. 15? Well, maybe 20, okay. Truthfully.
As I yawn, Vegas David says, I have to get to bed. This has been a great night. Love the drawing. Thanks for coming out.
That's it. We're done. Vegas Dave is out. We're all out. All right. Well,
oh my gosh. Zen 2. I was at class and I was watching you on my school computer, got caught and had to explain who you were, and she let me off the hook.
Oh, well, that's great.
That's awesome. Oh, that's funny.
Well, thank you to your teacher. Well, and if nothing else, I've been off the screen for like a half an hour now.
Have you? Well, that's because you zoomed in. Zoom out. It's too.
I'll just try to remember now.
Okay.
Because when it's zoomed out, you don't really see anything. It's a catch-22.
Yeah, it is. Fair enough. All right. Next super chat comes from Greg L. Static Art, $2. Would you ever do time lapse videos for commissions? You used to have time lapse videos.
Okay, so here's the thing with time lapse videos. I did that actually originally, and it was fine, and I'm not against doing it. I actually did another one about a month and a half ago, and I struggled with the picture like mightily, and I just wasn't happy with it. I don't know what happened. Sometimes it happens, and so I didn't post it. But I'm not doing time lapse of these. I did a few for a little while, and I stopped doing it because the video quality that we can get from this house, like I'm just not able to get a good enough stream quality. And so when I download the video from YouTube to be able to edit it, it's not. The last one that I did was very low quality, and it actually didn't do that well, I think, as a result. And I just thought I'm better off to leave it alone for now. So that's what I've been doing. But with the new house, that could really open up options. I'm hoping we can get a much higher bit rate. And
I have to love this idea. Edward Lee says, make patches the badge.
Yeah, there you go.
We'd have to go and we'd have to ask. Oh my goodness, I'm having a name blank right now because I have Patches as my Patches drinking iced tea, wearing glasses with the computer. Oh my gosh. I'm having it's 10 o'clock. Where's my phone? I don't know where my phone went because then I can look it up on my Instagram. Oh, who did that picture for me? We could have to ask him. We could use that as a badge. I feel like it's Patrick is his name, but I don't know where my phone went. Oh, here it is. All right. As I'm looking that up, I'll read the next super chat, which is from Mark C. Another super chat from Mark for $10. Mark says, I was thinking about your rule of third drawing with the figures. Just trying to make sure I do this right. Shouldn't both characters share the same eye line? Thank you for the super chat, Mark.
That is a good question that I have a good answer for. And I love that question too, because it's an easy one to answer. So here I've got my panel. And I'm going to draw a character. He's smiling. And I can draw another character behind him right here. And he's actually, this one's in the rule of thirds. This one's kind of outside of it a little bit. But here's another one right here, also smiling. And then I can draw, make this one on the same eye line. And there you go. And he's grabbing his hip. And they're all on the same eye line because my horizon is here. This is my horizon. And what the horizon is very important to know that this is you. You're looking at the picture. So you're outside of your head, looking at the back of your head. Here you go. And you got your Spider-Man blanket on because your wife is evil. And there's your eye. And so the horizon is always at your eye level. And so, for instance, if I draw, I'm going to draw, here's another panel. And I'm going to draw a building. What a mess. Let me use some actual perspective here. So here's my horizon. Here's a perspective point. You see why I use perspective? Some people can fake it. I just made a total childish mess. And here's my third point way down here. And so I've got a building here. And let's draw another one here. Here's my windows, kind of, we don't want to get carried away here because it's just a sketch. Another building here. And so in this picture, I'm looking down at these buildings and I'm up here. And here's my eyes and I'm looking down at the, here, make sure I'm in the, you know what? I'm probably way out of it too because I'm all zoomed in. Anyway, so it's always your eye line. The horizon is always your eye line. So here I'm looking down at all those buildings and that's how you see it. And so if I want to draw, here I've got my same panel. I've got my guy right here. If I want to put a guy here, I can totally do that. And they're just in perspective like this, and my horizon will be around down here. So I'll put my point here. And so there you go. There's one figure. There's the other figure. They're in perspective. If I wanted to put a figure behind here, I did a video on this. But so your
Freddie Benzinger.
Okay, your eye line is, your figure heads are only level with the eye line if you're standing and you're equal height to the characters and you're looking directly at them, and so your eye is directly there, your horizon will be there. This is you, maybe you're sitting down and you're looking up at these people. You're in a chair and they're standing beside you in a chair while you're in a chair. So your horizon line is down here looking up at them. Hope that all makes sense. What a mess.
I spent all that time scrolling through my Facebook feed to find out the name of the guy, Freddie Benzinger, who did that awesome patches, and Eric had the name for me. Freaking Eric, man. Does that guy have a photographic memory? Eric, you know too much. Eric. He just knows so much. He's like the greatest.
He just knows.
Just knows. Watch out, people. Eric knows. Next super chat comes from Liam Payne for $5. Hey, David Meredith, would it be possible to add Luther Strode, Headlopper, or Conquest from Invincible to the list? Headlopper. That's my voice. Headlopper is awesome.
All right. There you go. Yeah, I'd like to do an Invincible picture. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Well, Invincible's already on the list. So that's what I'm going to add, Headlopper.
Okay.
And Erica has this. Eric Scott has another super chat for $2. Erica says, when you do them again, how much is a commission? I honestly have no idea what your commission prices are right now because we don't even deal with that anymore. It's all done by Comic Sketch Art. So if anybody wants a commission, they can reach out to Mandy at Comic Sketch Art, www.comicsketchart.com, and they are also on Facebook.
I know exactly how much it is. I don't want to say, though.
Well, then we won't say.
We're
not going to say. We're not going to say. We're not saying. I'm sorry. We're not saying on the street. I'm sorry, Erica. It sounds awful.
It does. That's why I'm like, I don't want
to. All right. I had to add Headlopper to my list. And Freddie, we could ask Freddie, or I am Islam says, or we could have Grumpy Meredith could be a badge. Coughing Meredith.
I like that.
Coughing Meredith as a badge.
Perfect. Have you even coughed at all this time? I don't think you have.
Yeah, I have, because is it Zatanna? It was like, it wouldn't be a stream without a cough and a ban.
See, I didn't even, and actually it was me. I banned Henry. How many times has Henry been banned?
No, it wasn't Henry that we banned. I banned Charles.
You banned Charles
for spreading your poison about asking for forgiveness instead of permission.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I banned Henry.
Well, we only banned Henry because he's going to come back at us with like 500 of the most obscure comic characters.
That's right. Well, Henry is
list next week.
Henry is permabanned, but we'd be very sad if he wasn't here.
We would. We love him.
Yeah.
Jimmy Reyes is here, David. Jimmy has a suggestion for you. He says you could always record 1080p offline in OBS and then have your editor time lapse the footage.
I don't know how to do that.
You don't know how to record 1080 offline in OBS?
No, because at that point you need different settings for your stream and your recording. And I mean, we're getting into range that's beyond me.
That's new house stuff. That's new house worrying.
It's
right?
not necessarily though, because you know what? And first of all, I talked to Jimmy, and thank you for coming by, Jimmy. I talked to Jimmy last week, and we need to talk again, actually. Anyway, so let me give you a call tomorrow. I said that last week, and then things just got so nuts here. So yeah, and I'd like to actually work through that. And
I still think we should use Freddy's patches as our badge.
Fine.
I'm gonna make it. I want it as a T-shirt.
Yeah. And all of you are aware, right? Jimmy has a YouTube channel, Page One Comics. He does a stream. Actually, I watched his.
Do you see what happened there? Your brain is going in one direction, and my brain's going in totally different.
Are you offended?
No.
And yeah, he just did a Manga Studio inking stream that I came in and crashed a little bit. I mean, I was just in the comments, so you know, not really, but whatever. It was phenomenal. I've watched that thing a couple of times. I've learned so much, and I'm actually in the process, Meredith. So here's my deal. I don't have a tablet that I can use, as it turns out. My tablet is so old and decrepit and garbage, I can't even make it work anymore. And so I need a tablet in order to be able to work on the computer. And I want something more portable. So I need to figure out, look, there's the iPad, but first of all, Apple, you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meredith likes Apple.
I do.
But I want to use Manga Studio.
All their stuff is Apple.
Or Clip Studio Paint. I keep saying Manga Studio. I want to use Clip Studio Paint because it's the best. And anyway, so I'm going to get some kind of a thing. Maybe you guys have recommendations, you know. And yeah, I'm going to be using Jimmy's brushes. He's got some great brushes. By the way, Gumroad, check out Jimmy's brushes for Clip Studio. They are very, very good. And the reason they're so good is you can find this as a brush for Clip Studio in Jimmy's brush pack. And you can find a quill, which is, you know, proper traditional. That's what I fake with these. And a quill is better, but I have to dip them and I make a mess with them. So I don't. But I would prefer to use a quill. They're so much better. And he's got a good, like, Winsor & Newton brush simulation that works really well. And if you look at his channel, you can see he gets great traditional looking clean inks on Clip Studio that are, you know, phenomenal. So anyway, that's my goal coming up.
It's funny as you're talking about ink pens and stuff like that. I have a super chat from Mike DeFonte for $5. Mike says, Dave, your art supply list helped me out a lot in getting better results. Also, being left-handed makes you automatically cool. So says a fellow lefty.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for the super chat too, Mike.
Lefty power.
Lefty power unite.
Anytime you say something like that, it sounds a little, you know, wrong.
All right. Next super chat comes from Dezoran for $9.99. Dezoran says, just want to say thank you. You've helped me improve on my art way beyond what I imagined. And quick question, how would you draw a head looking up, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I have a video on YouTube that goes into that a little bit. And I also have a course on drawing superhero heads that goes into that. So I'm not going to say, hey, buy the course. I mean, you know, that'd be great. But so head from the front, it's going to be as crappy as it gets. Here's my eye line, the center, nose, mouth. My ears go here between, you know, and my eyes are here. I'm making this as bad as we can. Well, I'm making it as bad as I can. I'm making it as quick as I can. And so there it is from the front. I find it very helpful to draw shapes for, basically you're doing a skull. So it's kind of like that, you know, and it can be helpful for me to kind of delineate that stuff. So now if you're looking up at it from the front, you want to take that shape and be in the, let me zoom out. Okay, so I'm going to take these lines that I drew directly across And my ears I'll put here, and I'll just round around my my circular kind of a shape. And so here will be my nose, here will be my mouth. My mouth is halfway between the nose and the chin. I actually get a little bit longer as I go down because you get a bit of foreshortening. So here's my forehead. That would be what I have ridiculously badly proportioned on this head. And here's my center line. I'm going to draw my... So here's my skull. When I turn it up, that's the kind of shape you get with those eyes. So let's do that. So here's this.
As you're doing it, to give you an idea of how overwhelmed the male system is.
My nose starts here, please, Meredith. My nose starts here and projects upward from there. And so there's the shape for my nose. And my mouth is going to be here. And it also kind of has a bit of an arc. And here's my cheeks, like this. And then the chin, you can see, takes a bit of a shape, just like this. And then the ears would be way down here. So that's basically how you go about it. Okay, what's up, Meredith?
Well, I caught totally off guard because we're talking about doing our 100,000 stream giveaway. And if you recall, our 75, when was our 75,000 stream giveaway?
November.
So I sent books to L3 Sec because they won the package of books.
Right.
Hey, Finches, I got the package with the books in the mail today.
Today.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Well, that piece that Doc Rock sent you in November arrived last week.
Yes, we finally got Doc Rock's piece. And so I'll be Doc Rock will have a video. I'll have a video that's coming up fairly soon. It was a massive nightmare. His piece just didn't show up for ages. So yeah, but it's finally here. So yeah, it's just the mail system nowadays. It really is. I don't know how you lose something for months, but it's certainly happening.
Yeah, it's crazy. So people are saying they like their iPad.
They like that. Yeah, everybody likes the iPad, but can you use the iPad with Clip Studio? That's my question.
I don't know.
Ask them.
Well, you just asked.
I didn't officially ask, Lily.
Okay.
You're the one that.
Well, I look on the stream.
I keep forgetting. You guys can hear me right now.
You talk and then you forget that you're talking. Kevin Mandeville has a super chat for $2.99 for the new tablet and or chair.
Thank you very much, Kevin. I really appreciate it.
He won't. I'm telling you, Kevin, he won't let me buy him a new chair.
Because my art won't be the same.
Here's a great
with a different chair.
That's right. He's very superstitious.
I know it's a disgusting chair, but if it makes it really is. It's just paint and white out.
No, I don't care. It's ripped at the back. Eventually, it's gonna go. I love this idea from Henry. Meredith, the logo for the badge: patches with a finch bird in the mouth and one in her claws.
Oh, that's a great one. Who had that one?
That's Henry.
Unbanned.
And Henry can add all 70 of his characters to the list next week. Oh my gosh. No. Did I say that? That's not true. That is a great idea though.
That really is. We're going to do it. We got to do that.
Yeah. Oh, and I do like this. Erica said, let's all get Jimmy to 10,000 subs. That'd be awesome. I don't know how far away from 10,000 Jimmy is.
Actually, that really is. Yeah. And he is. Awesome. He's getting pretty close. He's at, last I looked, it was 8.9. And so I'm sure he's a little higher than that now. And yeah, I mean, he really deserves it. Not only he's a great artist. He's got a great book coming out right now that he just had a campaign for, Dragon Rage. Check that out too. Hopefully there's still a way that you can buy it. I'm sure there probably will be soon anyway. But yeah, he's also he's very, very helpful. And he is the reason why I'm doing YouTube and doing all of this. I would not be doing it without Jimmy.
Steve Hood says the newer Surface Pros are good. I like the pen better than the iPad, even though most people disagree. And also there's no subscription on Windows for Clip Studio.
There's no what on Windows?
Subscription on Windows for Clip Studio. I don't know what that means.
Oh, I do know what that means. So you can get Clip Studio for the iPad, but you have to pay a subscription. So instead of buying it, you have to just pay like this monthly fee.
Okay.
I'm okay with doing that. I mean, I'm paying a subscription for...
Yes, you could use Clip Studio Paint on the iPad, itself says.
Okay. And it works well?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Okay.
But you have to pay for a subscription for Clip Studio. Kirk Liu says you have to pay a subscription for Clip Studio Paint on iPad.
Well, I don't know.
Eric says you can.
Okay, we might just get an iPad then, because I do know that I really like the
It's-
pencil.
Honestly, and it's just nice to have the same. Like once you've invested in like
Enough Apple stuff.
it just makes sense because then you can the cords are all like for the most part you can use them. Like Isaac can use his iPad cord on my computer and whatever.
yeah, and you know the best thing about Apple is there was a guy in a turtleneck that talked about Apple all the time, so you know it's good.
In a black turtleneck.
Yeah. He
Neil
was the Theranos guy.
Neil Durkin has a super chat for $5. Neil says, "Hey Dave and Meredith, I just want to say how grateful I am for you both. My drawings and career have improved so much because of this stream." Oh, that's nice.
Yes,
Thanks,
thank you very
Neil.
much. Thank you. I you know what, Meredith, I've been doing this long enough now that it's becoming, and I've got enough videos out there that it's becoming kind of actionable. Like you can really go through and get stuff out of it and try it, and it's been, you know,
And develop yourself as I agree.
so yeah, that's great. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Jazz Singh also says, "I use the iPad to ink and pencil."
Okay, well there you go.
There
That's
you go.
all I need.
We're
to know.
done. That's all. If you needed any kind of vote of confidence,
Jazz Singh, for these, everybody knows who Jazz Singh is.
Yes.
I don't even know why, but I'm going to say it anyway. Jazz is a phenomenal inker and penciler. He just did a story for Dragon Rage for Jimmy, and I'm sure he's doing quite a bit more. He's absolutely amazing, like incredible stuff. And actually, the stream that I watched Jimmy doing the example with was a piece of Jazz's art that looked really incredible. So yeah. He's great and you know great guy, and we actually we met. You met Jazz too, I think, because it was
sure. I was
Toronto,
in
so you would have
Toronto,
been
so-
there. Yeah,
I was in Toronto. Not anytime lately, though.
yeah. There's for my money, that's all the authority on that I would need. So there you go. iPad it is.
All right, where are we at?
5 minutes. Good with that?
Yep. I think I can try to keep my yawning under control. I don't know why I've had trouble sleeping lately.
What about
The
last night?
This
Were
is
you?
the last 2 mornings actually. Well, one morning, 3 nights ago, I could not sleep. So at 3:30, I went downstairs and I don't know what I was doing. Went into the dining room to do something or to check something, and Everett came downstairs with a bag of chips. And I scared the bejesus out of him. He's like, "I thought you were a zombie. The way you were walking, lurch walking toward me."
You did that to me. You did that to me too. So 2 nights ago, I'm down here working. It's what time is it? It's like
12:30.
12:30. Yeah, and people do not come down here past a certain it never ever happens. And so I have no expectation that people are going to be here. And I'm working, and all of a sudden there's Meredith at my door. Like, oh man, I almost jumped out of my skin.
Even more scary for Everett though is I was lurching toward him in a zombie-like walk from the darkened corner of the dining room.
Okay, yeah, that's worse.
At 3 a.m.
Yeah.
It's been my sleeping schedule is so messed up right now. I don't know if it's stress or what.
Well, I was in bed at 5 o'clock in the morning last night. So.
Well, yeah, but you know,
Deadlines.
it's not like I'm not going to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I was up half an hour later to let the dogs out, and then the last 2 mornings I've just gone back to sleep on the couch.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about it. Deadlines happen.
Yeah.
And I could always say, "Oh no, I don't want to do it." But the fact is,
Gotta get it done.
I got to get it done, and I love it. I don't love the deadline, but it's part of. There's a cost that comes with it.
Sometimes when the editor says it's got to get in, it's got.
And sometimes it does, yeah. It's there are things, and they don't do it "Oh, hey, we want to mess up your life today." They do it because something comes up and it just has to be done. And so that's where we're at. Halfway there. I got 3 of them done. I got 3 more to go.
Greg L. Static Art, $2 super chat. Help with drawing and connecting the lower legs.
Is that Greg L?
Yep.
Greg.
It's too late, Greg. Oh, come on. It's into the night. Meredith wants to go to bed.
Okay. Connecting the lower legs. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, first of all, thank you very, very much. Your next question, please just ask. Don't super chat, and I will try and answer. That one is too difficult for me to answer quickly right now. Meredith will fall apart. I am going to do another leg video very soon, and maybe I should just do that one next. Actually, what was the other one that I said I wanted to do?
The wrist, like his hands.
That's different, though.
Oh.
I was just going to help with that. I wanted to see what was going on with it. But I had another
I
topic.
know that's why I asked you, but then you said what?
I had another topic that I said I
I'm
was going
gonna
to
do leg video.
Now I totally forget. Oh man, I need to be writing this stuff down.
Well, you can always watch back through the stream.
There you go.
It was
And I
after
do.
the last hour.
Yeah, and I do. So, but I do. I need to do legs again. I'm not happy with my legs video the way that I did it, and this is always. I think I said this last week too, but it really is. I don't know how to teach this stuff all the time. You know, wait till you see my expressions. I did this whole like a long segment on expressions, and ultimately I can show you quite a bit, but real nuance with expressions. My method of learning it is, I'm going to tell you what it is. I'd show a bunch of examples. I mean, it's not like it's a secret. I will look at like a Disney animation, like Frozen, well, Frozen too, but Tangled especially is my favorite. It's really great, and I can take those characters and they're really, really animated and wild compared to what I do. But I just make sure I use my head form, the form that I naturally use, basically Loomis and How to Draw Comics the Marvel way based. And I'm consistent enough with that I can actually take the expression, take a lot of the character from the face, and just transfer it into something that's more my style. And it really, really works. And I get so much nuance with expression that is beyond what I can do just on my own. And yeah, I love Disney that way. And I really kind of go into depth about how I approach that. And so, yeah.
Okay. Next super chat comes from Mark Maldonado for $2. Mark just has a little emoji guy going, cool.
Well, thank you.
And Greg says he'll save it for the email.
Okay, good.
Super chat. I'll save it for the email. Somebody said, check out vitamin D. Film spaz. Maybe research vitamin D. Film spaz. I am outside 4 hours a day in the winter. Like I'm out constantly. It's not vitamin D related because I also take a vitamin D supplement.
Yep.
It's stress related. We are packing up this house, moving to a new house. It's not finished yet. There's mud everywhere. People who bought this house are coming through again on the 31st to walk through it and make sure it still looks good.
Yeah, they have 3 walkthroughs. They've taken one. They have 2 more, and which is great. And totally, they should do it. I think
it's incredibly stressful every time they come through because I want this house to be
nice and clean
and immaculate for them. I want this to be the dream house that they want to move into. So it's all just stress related.
Yep. Well, it'll be done. Really, we're
coming to the finish line.
We are.
We're a month away. Yep. Knock on wood, hopefully, because today is the 16th or 7th. What's today? Today is the 18th. Like potentially, we could sometime in the next month. We could be in the new house. So
it's coming.
It's coming. It won't be in the new house at least until the 26th of February because that's when the movers are moving the big stuff, the furniture. But all the, oh my gosh, I just don't even want to look. Like all the books in here and the comic book boxes.
Yeah, this office is.
Oh my gosh, this basement.
Every time I move, my office is more of a nightmare to move.
Yes, it's true. It's a whole day just to move the office.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I have news for you, Meredith.
You're done?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to read the last super chat then.
Okay.
So the last super chat comes from Jay Sanchez for $9.99. Hi, David. It's me again. I was wondering, how can I start out as an aspiring artist to learn how to do my own merchandising and that people don't steal my ideas?
Well, thank you very much for the super chat, Jay. I would say for merchandising, in order to protect your ideas, you just need to get them up on the internet. People can steal them. It's not like it makes it immune, but it gives you legal recourse, which is all you ever really need and all you can ever get anywhere. So you can patent things. People just generally don't do that anymore because with the internet, you have a real record of when you put this stuff out. It's clear. And so that's all the protection you really need. So I would say get it out there. But that reminds me, that's something I want to do very soon. So I have this character that I'm like super pumped about. And I keep, it's in my head all the time. I want to do like a character creation course, start to finish, how it and whatever in the whole thing. And I'll put a big chunk of it up on YouTube anyway. And that's all I need to do. Just getting that video out there and getting it out there means that it's mine. I don't need to go any further than that. We did Rose actually. My first time drawing Rose was for Noman Workshop, which is Noman is a film and video game artist training workshop. And anyway, this is a long time ago now that I did it. And so I did Rose, which was our character, Meredith and mine. And I just basically created it on the fly there. I didn't have any real plan. I just made it up in the video. And it's our character. So, you know, Meredith ultimately did a book of Rose, a different costume. Like Iguara really kind of took it in his own direction and did a beautiful job with it. But yeah, we owned it. It was no problem because I had drawn it, and publicly it was out there. So yeah, you're good.
All right.
No worries.
All righty. Well,
so there we go. I'm actually really happy with that one, Meredith.
It looks great.
I can't get the whole thing. She has a foot too, by the way.
Yeah, somebody commented on that. I can see the foot. So all right.
Who commented?
I'm looking. Cool. No.
Thank you very much, Lance. Appreciate it.
Oh, Zayu. OMG, Dave drew a foot.
There you go. I did.
All right. Thank you guys so much for being with us for another edition of Monday Night Draw. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, because if Dave won't say it, I certainly will. And set your calendars for February the 4th when we launch our next video streaming. It's not streaming, it's recorded, but
just interviews.
Interviews where we talk to our friends and colleagues in the industry about how they do their job. And I think there's a lot of useful information for writers and artists and everybody who wants to be part of comics.
There you go. Yes, thank you everyone so much. I hope you have a great week. We will see you next week. And DPLA Art made it at the end of the stream, he just said. So we're all glad about that.
Perfect. And apparently El Padrino commented early on the foot. So
yeah. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.